wonder if it's gonna work this time. It better. It better actually work this time, because I don't know what else I could possibly do. I'm out of all the things to fiddle with. There's nothing else for me to fiddle with. Oh, it is. Thank you. I don't know what happened. Like everything looked like it should be working. Thank goodness. Okay. It's always something. I can't catch a freaking break. Like every stream, there is something. And I'm like, there's nothing else I could possibly fiddle with except restart it. And of course, magically it works. And we are now late. I was gonna be nice and early, and I was gonna like find, because what I wanted to do was find like footage of the raw video that was like slowed down, so I could like show that. But I spent all my time fiddling with my all the little possible things I could fiddle with to try to get this to work. It should not be that difficult. All right, I'm gonna have to start. I have to get into the actual debate. I won't be able to chat much, but do let me know if there's like an echo, and I'll disable the sound input on like the direct thing. So, yeah. Let me try to figure this out. We should set a goal for when you start streaming the audio is working. Wouldn't that be nice? Not that the goals really do much, but I don't know why I'm like nervous. I've never done a debate, maybe that's why, but this is like a slam dunk, so I don't know what, like, I'm surprised that this is even a topic. I don't, that is like, is there something I'm missing? Did they like drop like body cam footage where like everything we've learned so far was AI or something? There's no way, like, I don't get it. Well, we're gonna find out. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to enter the studio here. But this looks okay, I think. Let me pull it up here in a minute. Sorry, I'm still, I was having issues as well. Yeah.
Oh, this OBS right out. All right. So just make sure you're both good with this. Each of you get 10 minutes for your opening. Obviously, you don't have to use the whole 10 minutes, but you can as well. And then followed by 5 minutes of uninterrupted rebuttals. And then we go to the full hour of open floor back and forth. And then a 5-minute closing statement for each of you. And then a 30-minute Q&A, like it's from the chat. I just they either send super chats or they put it in the Q&A. Both good with that?
Yep, and DefNot, just to let you know, we're already live on my side.
Oh, cool. Yeah, same for me.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, as far as like the timing, I'm definitely not gonna take up. Oh, that's fine. Okay, I gotta stop saying things that are part of my name because every time I freak out for no reason. I'm not gonna be taking out the whole like 10 or like 5 or whatever minutes. It's
yeah.
I feel like this is pretty straightforward. I'm surprised this is even like a topic.
All right.
But, okay.
All right. Yeah, no problem. It's you could take 1 minute if you really wanted. So, also after, totally optional for you guys, we do an open panel after where the chatters can come up and continue the conversation with us after. So if you guys want to stick around for that, totally optional for you guys as well. And what else? Oh yeah, for the starting, it'll play like I have a disclaimer, and then it plays like an intro and song and a visual, so that gives a chance for people to start rolling in. After that, I'll introduce the prompt, or sorry, first I'll introduce the show, the prompt, you guys, and then we'll get right into opening. And Lutch, you are on affirmative for this one, so
yep.
You are going to go first for openings, and then when we go to closings, you'll go first again, so that'll give DefNot the last word. Good?
Enough.
All right, good. All right. Yeah, it's just I like to give one person the first word, one person the last. I know other people do it like whoever goes first also goes last, but I don't know. I don't find the reasoning for it.
First word, last word kind of thing.
Yeah, one gets the first one gets the last. So it's fair, equality. We're all about equality. All right, so you're both good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All righty. You good, DefNot?
Yep.
Okay. All right, perfect. I'm gonna start it up. Thank you both for being here, and good luck to you both. And let's rock and roll here.
Warning. The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, any documentation or references to specific content are solely for the purpose of discussion and understanding. It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content. The views expressed in these videos and or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. The Canadian Copyright Act, Section 29, allows an individual to use copyright-protected materials when creating a new work, such as a mashup, and to post the new work online on a site like YouTube. Fair dealing provision for specific purposes like research, private study, education, parody, satire, criticism, review, and news report.
I probably won't be able to do the chat much during this because I'll try to pay attention, but I can still like read it off the side of on the side of my vision, but probably won't be able to respond as much. Sorry about that, but I'll check in afterwards for sure. It's playing music pretty loud, so if you have headphones, it's 3, 2, 1, ready.
We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreat. Yeah. No fear, no chain, no treason. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Step back, I'm a scholar and a fighter. Every claim you throw, I strike tighter. Logic and power, I never fold. In the war of words, I'm solid gold. Raise your fist, let them know. Whoa. Raise your voice, let it blow. Woo. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. We clash our swords of reason. Cut through like no retreating. No fear, no chain, no treason. We clash our swords of reason. Every thought a fortress, every claim a storm. We forge a truth where chaos takes form. Ideas ignite like lightning through the night. In the war of minds, we bring the light. Step in, feel the heat. Truth is my weapon, never beat. Raise them high, break the ceiling. With a fire, with a feeling.
Oh, I was thinking about getting something like that, but I don't know. I generally don't like them when other people do them, so I figured, like, maybe I shouldn't torture other people. But if it is something that is in demand, I'm not 100% against it. I did find, like, yeah, welcome back, Boomhauer. Oh, it's starting. We'll chat after.
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. This is where logic meets passion. If you're new here, the format is simple. Each debater gets 10 minutes for their opening statement, followed by 5 minutes of uninterrupted rebuttals. After that, we enter in the arena for a full hour of back and forth debate where the arguments can clash and the iron can sharpen the iron. And finally, each side will deliver a 5-minute closing statement to lock in their case. When that's done, we move into a 30-minute Q&A. I'll drop a Q&A in the chat. I think I actually already have for you guys in the chat there. But keep in mind the Superchats, PayPals, and Cash App questions do get priority. So if they fill up the entire 30 minutes, the free chat questions may not get answered. So if there's something you want guaranteed to be asked, send it through one of the priority options. And once the formal debate wraps up, we open the doors for the Chaos and Chill panel. That's where the community can hop in, challenge the debaters, ask follow-ups on the topic, if the debaters choose to stick around, because that part is optional for them. But it's always where things get fun. Today's debate prompt, the Alex Pretti shooting was justified. For the affirmative, stepping into the arena tonight, we've got a creator who definitely knows how to make an entrance, calling himself the Indian Jesus, not because he thinks he's the Messiah, but because he's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense and maybe trigger a few people along the way. Behind the name is Lutch, a host who's open about having his own political leanings, but makes it clear his platform isn't about blind loyalty. It's about building a community centered on truth, morality, and the conversations in culture and politics that people usually try to avoid. So if you like bold personalities mixed with real discussion, go show some support. His channel is linked in the description. And for the negative, making her debut in the Swords of Reason arena tonight. But don't mistake debut for new, because she is no stranger to debates, tough conversations, or walking straight into ideological crossfire. She describes herself as culturally and politically homeless, not because she lacks conviction, but because she refuses to blindly pick a tribe. She's known for dissecting red pill content with precision, recognizing the real issues men raise while calling out the bitterness and hostility toward women. But balance also cuts both ways, because when feminists say something stupid, she also is ready to challenge that side too. In a space where loyalty to a side often matters more than logic, she chose intellectual independence, and this should be a great matchup tonight. And you can find her channel linked in the description, so go ahead and give her a sub up. Also, she has promised a face reveal at 10K subs, so let's get her to that face reveal. How about that? But with that being said, we're going to get into the opening statements. Lutch, whenever you're ready for your opening statement, we're going to start with you. I will start the timer up with your voice.
Hold on, I got to burp. 1 second.
I didn't know we were getting little intros like that.
Okay. One thing we should all agree upon is that the death of Alex Pretti should not have happened. A man is dead. All human life is valuable, and that makes this a tragedy on many levels. But the question before us is not, could the situation have been handled better? I think it potentially could have. The question is whether or not the officer's actions were constitutionally reasonable at the moment force was used. Graham v. Connor of 1989 requires courts to judge force from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, not with the benefit of hindsight and under the totality of the circumstances. That is the only standard that matters here. The video shows multiple individuals standing in a public roadway, blocking traffic and preventing a federal vehicle from exiting. Traffic is forced to stop or reroute. This is not passive observation. It is physical obstruction. Pretti was not merely there as an observer. The Supreme Court has been clear for decades that the First Amendment does not protect conduct that obstructs public ways or creates safety hazards via Cox v. Louisiana in 1965. So officers issue lawful commands to clear the roadway. Those commands are ignored. At this stage, officers are lawfully present, issuing lawful commands addressing a safety hazard. Even when individuals are filming, the courts held that officers may impose reasonable, safety-based restrictions during active operations. Turner v. Driver in the Fifth Circuit in 2017 tells us that filming does not override safety or operational control. Just because you're filming doesn't mean they lose their authority. When verbal commands fail, the officer uses open hand pushing to move individuals out of the roadway. This is the lowest level of force available. Under Graham v. Hancock, minimal force is justified when lawful orders are ignored. The situation presents safety risks, and officers must regain control of the scene. Courts routinely grant qualified immunity for precisely this level of force in obstruction cases. There is nothing unusual about it. At this point, Alex Pretti physically inserts himself between the officer and the woman who is being pushed. The video shows Pretti initiating physical contact with the officer and pushing him backward, or trying. This changes the legal context of what is allowed to happen next. Oh shit, or something. Regardless, so once a civilian uses force against a federal, once a civilian uses force against an officer performing official duties, that conduct constitutes as assault on a federal officer, regardless of the motive, according to 18 U.S.C. substatute 111, and is affirmed in United States v. Fiola of 1975. This is no longer about speech or protest. This is now a lawful arrest scenario. The officer responds with pepper spray and a takedown. Textbook escalation under Graham, triggered by active resistance. Again, it is Pretti's actions that are escalating the situation. After the pepper spray is deployed, Pretti continues to fight officers. The environment is chaotic, exactly as the protesters intended. Shouting, whistles, crowd noise, multiple officers converging, horns honking, and more. Courts have consistently held that officers may escalate force against subjects who actively resist arrest. The principle is recognized in Forrester v. City of San Diego, the Ninth Circuit, 1994, and reinforced by Graham itself. At this moment, the officers are dealing with an actively resisting suspect, a volatile crowd, and a rapidly evolving situation where no one knew what would happen next, but it was becoming frighteningly clear what could happen next. During the struggle, officers shout, "Gun, gun, gun," as become aware that Pretti is armed. From this moment forward, the legal analysis fundamentally changes. Even if the firearm was physically removed seconds earlier, there is no evidence that all officers were informed that the weapon was secured. Even if the officer holding Pretti's firearm yelled out that he had taken it off Pretti, there is no way in that moment for officers to know whether Pretti possessed another weapon, whether another gun or even a knife, which could obviously do lethal damage in close quarters like this. Courts do not require officers to confirm the absence of danger in the middle of a violent struggle. In Brousseau v. Hogan 2004, the Supreme Court emphasized that officers are often forced to make split-second decisions in dangerous situations. In Ryburn v. Huff of 2012, the court held that officers may act on incomplete or uncertain information. There's that burp. In Plumhoff v. Rickard of 2014, the court reaffirmed that deadly force may be used when officers reasonably perceive an imminent threat. If officers hear a gunshot, whether from negligent discharge or otherwise, in close quarters, during a physical struggle, that perception alone can reasonably trigger lethal force. The Constitution does not require officers to pause, pull the scene, phone a friend, and reassess perfectly in seconds. Shout out to Box, who gave Anna Kasparian pause when he wrote in to the TYT Morning Show and highlighted the difference between can I and must I. Sounds poetic, but unfortunately is paper thin. In the time the officer makes that determination, he could be dead, and it's not the responsibility of law enforcement to read the mind of criminals. This is entirely different. This is entirely different from saying that Pretti deserved to die. Just because you broke your ankle when you went hiking doesn't mean that if you choose to go hiking, you deserve to have your ankle broken. It's just one of the things that can happen if you make that decision. Choosing to protest and obstruct law enforcement when you're armed and then resisting arrest does not mean you deserve to die. But it certainly is one of the things that can happen if you make those decisions. So few people deserve to die. So hopefully my opponent will not try to pull on your heartstrings with emotionally manipulative language. There is a video from days earlier showing Pretti kicking a federal vehicle while armed. That video is not offered to justify this shooting, but does rebut the false narrative that Pretti was merely a passive observer who just happened to be present just filming. It shows a pattern of voluntary armed confrontations with law enforcement. Again, I understand this is not something that could be used against him in the court of law, but I personally don't remember taking the bar exam, and it would be pretty silly, no pun intended, to pretend that this behavior is wholly irrelevant to our broader understanding of what really happened in those seconds. Federal officers were performing federal duties in a jurisdiction where state and local authorities have been ordered to stand down, forcing federal agents to handle crowd control themselves, and that's not what their primary training is. It's almost like they want you guys to die for them so that everybody forgets about the billions of dollars in fraud. But I digress. Under the Supremacy Clause, federal officers do retain authority to enforce federal law, even when local governments decline to assist. The Supreme Court's decision in Nome v. Vasquez-Padermo of last year confirms that federal agents may detain or arrest U.S. citizens who impede federal operations or create safety risks, of which Pretti did both. I'm not here to claim foreknowledge about how this case will work out. More information may come out that changes our understanding. But as of all the information available to us at this moment, it is clear the shooting of Alex Pretti was lawful, even if it was awful. To recap what happened, lawful orders were issued. Minimal force was used. Pretti escalated to physical assault. He actively resisted arrest. A firearm was introduced to the officer's awareness, and then officers reasonably feared death or serious bodily harm upon hearing the gunshot and used legal force on Pretti, according to the Graham v. Connor standard. The Constitution does not require perfect outcomes. It demands reasonable decisions under pressure, and that's precisely what the law protects here. And I will concede my time.
All right. Thank you. Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you for that opening statement. With that, we are going to hand the mic over to DefNot. And DefNot, whenever you're ready for your opening statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Sure. Hello. So this is my first full-length debate. So sorry if I'm a little nervous about it. Not that I really have to be. I mean, the topic is, I thought, pretty straightforward. So whether he was in the road or not in the road, whether he kicked out a taillight over a week before that or not, none of that really has to do with if it was justified to kill a guy. Even if all of those things were true and he was an evil bastard, even if that was true, that still isn't an excuse to execute a guy on the street after having disarmed him, which is what happened here. I looked it up, and apparently justified means right, necessary, and permitted under the rules. as far as relating to killing. So I would argue that this was, well, neither. But most importantly, it wasn't necessary because, I mean, everybody has seen the video already, I presume. They had like 7 dudes on him, basically holding him down. It doesn't take like 7 dudes to hold down a guy that's like flopping on the ground, who, like, after having already sprayed him with. So you have to understand, like, first, like, the very first thing that happened is that officer comes in. I'll kind of like help recount. Pretty sure everybody already saw it, but this officer like shoves a woman like onto the sidewalk. Pretti kind of stands up and tries to like help her up, and then when the officer goes for him, he starts like he like puts his hand up, not towards like where the gun is or anything. He's like very clear about where his hands are. So like I thought he was being careful about it. Very clearly not giving them an excuse to like, oh, he reached for his gun or whatever. Like very clearly like hands up. That's not like, having your hands up is generally considered not like a I'm gonna attack you position, but like a surrendering kind of position. At least where I'm from. I don't know if maybe that's different for y'all, but that seems pretty obvious to me. Anyway, the officer did end up continuing to like pepper spray him in the face, like right in the face. So at this point, he is completely disoriented. He can't see anything. He's like slipping on the ice. Like the whole thing is complete mess. And he still doesn't go for his gun or anything like that. Like he just kind of like flops around on the ice as the rest of the officers kind of like swarm and start like holding him down while he's like flopping around in pain. His eye, like they're holding his arms down, is something else that the witnesses have recounted. So if you have the guy's arms being held down by like 7 dudes and his other limbs and everything else, if he has a gun in his butt, he can't shoot with his butt. Okay, so like what's the danger here? His butt isn't going to make the gun go off, so his hands or his feet, he can't shoot with his feet either. Like this whole like everything about this being supposedly justified relies on something that's like physically impossible for him to do. And so something that officers are trained is that they have to see if a reasonable officer, with everything that is available at that exact moment, like, so say somebody shouts gun, they still have to look and see, like, is this a situation that warrants force? And sure, they have to make split-second decisions, they're trained for it, but any reasonable officer wouldn't look at a guy that is in that position, not even reaching for his gun, regardless of whether somebody said gun or not, and start like unloading into a pile of bodies on the ground, like thrashing around in the ice. Like that is not a reasonable thing to do whatsoever. I'm not sure how you could possibly think that. I don't know where else to go with this. Obviously, they disarmed him before shooting him, and I don't know what this whole like a gunshot went off situation is, because the first gunshot that went off was the guy shooting into Alex Pretti, like the Border Patrol officer shooting into a pile of bodies, including Alex Pretti. So after that first shot went off, the rest of the officers, who apparently didn't think that this needed to be like a shooting situation, they were like surprised, and then they started like unloading into him too, because like everybody's like freaking out at that point, like because one of them did shoot the gun. So it seems like only the one guy, after having literally like been right there when the first officer removed the weapon from his butt, this guy right next to him is like, he had to have seen that. I don't understand like what the deal is, but he was literally right there to have seen the weapon is no longer in the butt. I don't know what else I can say. He was disarmed, and then he was shot many, many times, like repeatedly. If even once is too many, but repeatedly. And then reports on the scene said that like instead of trying to render aid, which I mean, okay, to be honest, like if you put that many holes on a guy, how much aid can you really render? But they didn't even try. They were like counting bullet holes as something that keeps coming up, and like trying to, where's the gun? Like the rest of them are confused because like, why did we just shoot this guy? Because one dude decided to freaking go off. So it doesn't sound justified to me, but Oh yeah, by the way, do you like my ice cosplay? It's just for you guys. That's it. I mean, I think we can just kind of get into it because I heard a few things that don't sound right to me, but we can just kind of go one by one.
All right. All right. Thank you for that opening statement. So, with that, we are going to get into the rebuttal round. So, this is 5 minutes of rebuttals uninterrupted to just for a chance for you to respond to what you heard in the openings. And then after that, we'll get into the hour back and forth. So, we're going to hand the mic back to the Indian Jesus. So, whenever you're ready, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yeah, so just had a few questions. If he had complied with orders and not physically engaged with officers while he was armed, would this shooting have occurred?
Oh, do you want me to like answer now? Because I thought it was like your 5 minutes.
Yeah, no,
because this is your rebuttal. So
we're going back and forth. Yeah. So
this is your 5 minute rebuttal uninterrupted.
Okay.
And then then you go back and forth in the
I mixed up all the things. All right. So I addressed how you said that the old video doesn't mean anything today. I agree that that it doesn't justify or have anything to do with the specific shooting. I talked about how it was the larger narrative. Very obviously, it was not an execution. Maybe we can get a little bit more into the definition of justified, because you're saying that it wasn't necessary, as somebody who is watching the video in slow motion afterwards, and of course Graham v. Connor, that doesn't count. It has to be in the moment what is reasonable based on what was understanding. Then you said that Alex Pretti had his hands up, and again, if you watch from the multiple angles, then his first thing is to push the officer away, weak beta loser, so he doesn't go anywhere, and the cop sees that, so that's when the pepper spray and his hands go up. So that's after, again, as I said, he is initiating and escalating, and they are responding to his escalation. So if he gets pepper sprayed and he's disoriented, then why is he fighting? If you're disoriented, just go dead fish. You're arrested. Then the last thing I really have, you made a claim about the first shot. I am not aware of confirmation where the first shot came from. My understanding was that the first shot was the negligent discharge from Pretti's gun as the officer was holding it. And so either way, let's say that it was one of the officers who was standing around aiming at Pretti, then how would the other cops still wouldn't know where the shot came from? And so there's still a justification. They hear gun, gun, gun. Nobody says the gun is clear. Nobody says all clear, and then a shot goes off. And so by that situation, I'm not saying that it was good. Again, lawful but awful is a saying for a reason. I mean, if you go by your emotions, you kept saying it seems pretty straightforward. I mean, yeah, if we look at how we feel, then it's pretty straightforward. But if we actually look at how the law works and take our feelings out of it, even though I also had a very strong emotional reaction to seeing a man being killed in the streets, even though I think he had stupid ideas and wasn't engaging in smart activities, that doesn't mean that he should die. But that's his decision. That's his choice. So yeah, I'll give my time there.
All right. Thank you for that rebuttal. And with that, we are going to hand the mic back over to DefNot. So whenever you want to start your 5-minute rebuttal, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Cool, thanks. So this whole there was an accidental shooting from Alex Pretti's own gun thing. I've seen that kind of floating around online. There's no evidence for it. I've tried looking at the video, as the guy is carrying the gun away, we would have seen that disturbance of where the bullet would be hitting something. And we also see in the other video from the other angle, the man that that fires the first shot, you can see the recoil in the gun when the first shot gets fired. So I don't know like where this whole like maybe the gun like went off on its own thing. Like I understand the emotional need to make it so if we want to talk about emotions here, because we don't want ICE to be wrong. We want them to go and clean up the neighborhoods. We don't want them killing, U.S. citizens for no reason. Obviously, nobody wants that sort of thing. But in this case, that did unfortunately happen. And trying to defend it hurts more than just kind of accepting it, saying, okay, this guy clearly shouldn't be in the force, get him out, charge him, whatever. And then, like, we can accept that sometimes mistakes happen. But trying to defend this is pushing people in the opposite direction of like the intention is to get the illegals out of the cities and out of the country in general. That's the intention. And if you go around like murdering actual citizens, it's not a great look. People are going to turn against it, and government needs legitimacy to do stuff like that. So it's just pushing people away. Like the result of defending ICE, no matter what, it's not gonna have like this isn't the better outcome. Let's see. Oh, and about like this emotion thing, like sure, yeah, it's terrible to see officers murder a person after having disarmed him. And as far as like, oh sure, yeah, it happened quickly. But when you're in the moment, every second counts, and they're supposed to be trained for reacting quickly. So, and they did reveal that these officers had like years of training experience, which means they should have known better. And like we can discuss this whole like if you want to keep bringing the video into it when he does like attack that vehicle and stuff, I think that works better in my favor, honestly. But sure, we can go there. Honestly, I think it's relevant. So. But we can totally bring that in the discussion. Yeah, and in general, I think I already kind of covered. It's like at that exact moment when you decide to use lethal force, is it warranted? And they had 7 guys on him, and they were restraining him. Like there's no way that he could have like reached back and pulled a gun and started like shooting at them. Like it's physically impossible, and that's part of something that is required for using lethal force. Is in that moment, is it justified? Can something else be done? And if there's like no other option, then yes, it would have been justified. But they had him already contained. Like there is no physical way that he could have shot one of them. So that's where the law is on that. In the moment, as you said. So I'm fine with just kind of getting into it. I'm not great at like lengthy back and forth, so if you
No worries.
I know you had a question. I forgot what it was. Maybe we can start with that.
No worries. All right. Great rebuttals from both sides. Before we move into the open hour of back and forth, I just want to talk to the audience real quick. Everyone watching right now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also subscribe to tonight's debaters. Their links are in the description. We host all kinds of debates here on Swords of Reason, politics, culture, ethics, internet topics, anything where reasoning and passion can collide. We put it in the arena. So if you're enjoying the format, make sure you're locked in because we have a lot more coming. Also, a reminder for that live chat after closing statements, we're doing a 30-minute Q&A. So I have the Q&A there in the chat, so you guys can put your questions in there. But remember, Super Chats, PayPal's, Cash App questions, these will get priority. So if they fill up the whole 30 minutes, the free chat questions may not get read. So if you have something you really want answered, send it through one of the priority options. We'll make sure it gets asked. And finally, thank you to both of our debaters for being here tonight. And yeah, whenever one of you is ready to start up the open floor exchange, just jump in and I will start the timer up with your voice.
Yeah, so you said that it would be impossible for him to have be a danger to them. Can you
Yeah, they had 7
validate
dudes
that?
holding down one guy, and he already was blinded. So At no point did he reach for his weapon, by the way. It looks like the
Yes, he did.
CBP report doesn't
No.
mention
But
any
why would it be
reaching,
impossible? You
and
said it
they
would be
don't.
impossible.
Well,
You made a
I'm
claim that
adding
it would be
to
impossible.
CBP report doesn't mention any reaching, and it also said the whole like accidental discharge thing. By the way, they didn't mention that as well. And so those are the people that did the, execution.
Okay, so why would it be impossible for him to be a danger to them?
Because they had 7 guys on one guy holding him down,
So you
and
you don't
they
think
already
there's
disarmed him.
So you don't think there's, again, we don't know that he wouldn't have had another weapon. So
You can't-
again, the question is, how
can't
do
be
you know that he
serious.
didn't? I am
That's
dead
not-
serious. How do
that's
you?
not a
So
legitimate-
you're saying,
that's not a
wait. You're
legitimate
saying it's
reason to use
impossible that he
lethal
had a knife
force,
on him,
is if
and
he
he would
could
go
have had
and
another
stab somebody.
gun.
That's
Like,
impossible. I
they
just want
have
to be clear.
It's
impossible?
Using lethal force requires that they
You're-
see an immediate
I agree.
threat.
I was the
They
one who
have to
actually quoted the
see
law.
immediate
I
threat,
was the one
him,
who
like,
actually quoted the
reaching
law.
or holding the gun, which is not possible because they had disarmed him. This whole he could
Okay,
have had another gun.
I know. I've
unless
heard
they
you say
literally
that.
saw that he was holding another gun and
I've
about
heard you
to
say that
fire at
multiple
them.
times. What
That's
I'm asking
not
you to do
legitimate use
is
of force.
verify the claim that you are making. You said it's impossible. I'm asking you, how do you know that it is impossible? Impossible
Because
means
there were
cannot
7
happen.
guys on him. Do the math. And he was
So you-
blind.
So you think there's no
they
way
told-
that
and
there's
they
ever
said he
been
didn't reach.
you've never seen body cams of dudes being tased and a bunch of guys and they still go through
It's
and-
very
and
clearly not
cause
what happened
damage?
here. I mean, can we just watch the video or something again? I mean, I thought
Sure.
everybody saw it at this point, so I don't understand how people can be seeing something so different.
If you want to pull it up, pull it up.
Yeah, what part are we speaking on specifically?
The part where they're literally holding down a guy that has been blinded by freaking
Why is
pepper
he
spray.
but why is he in that position?
Because he's blind and they tackled him to
Okay,
the
why is he
ground.
blind?
Because they pepper sprayed him.
Okay, why did they pepper spray him?
Because he tried to help a woman up and he stood in front of the officer.
Oh, he tried to help a woman?
And the officer continued
So
on the
you
rampage.
helping a woman is ignoring the woman and attacking a federal officer? How is that helping the woman?
From the video I saw, maybe we saw different videos, but from the video I saw, it was they were standing in the road. She was off to the side. He was kind of in the middle. He was filming. The officer comes up to them. It's not like they went and started messing with the vehicle or anything in this instant, at least. So if anything, this last video that you brought up, there he was actually doing something violent. So, and in that case, they didn't shoot him, even though they could also see his gun. So for some reason, those agents didn't find that he posed a threat.
It's almost like they're not some evil Gestapo, right?
Exactly. I agree.
So if he had complied,
These
with their
particular
orders,
agents messed up, and if
So
we,
if he had been
if we
ar- so
allowed
he
them
had
to
been
mess
arrested
up,
for that.
then that taints the rest of the operation. And then it
I
right
mean,
now
sure,
he's
I
withdrawing
don't even
them
necessarily
anyway
disagree
because
with that, but I'm not
it's a bad
interested
look.
in looking good. I'm interested in the truth. So if he had been arrested for the earlier video that, again, I understand does not have anything to do with the shooting. I'm just asking this outside of that. If he'd been arrested for that, then would he have been in a position to be killed that night?
Main logic dictates no, but what does that have to do with anything? That's completely
Do you guys would you guys want me to play the video quickly? I have one that goes through a bunch of the different angles here. I just found
Yeah,
that
I do have it.
ABC played. So if you guys want me to, here I can bring that up.
I would have brought one, but I figured everybody already saw it so many times.
Yeah,
that
I
it became
think
pointless.
I would figured the same thing. But if we want to just do a little play here, I don't know if you guys want the sound here too.
Yeah, so
I think it's just the news.
Yeah, I don't see him doing a lot
So
of
where's he?
resisting.
So
where
here,
is he
let me
help-
back it up and slow it down
So
for you guys. The
yeah,
news is just talking over it, so I don't think we need the sound. Playback speed, we'll slow it down about half there, and I'll play it through here for you.
Okay, so there you go. So he puts his hands up right here. That's why he put exactly.
Because
there
he
you go.
put his
So his
hands
hands
up?
are already up. So he gets pepper spray.
So where does he push?
Legal force. for interrupting.
Where does
He's
he
only
push the
just
officer?
now.
You said he
he's
like
only
attacked
just
the
now
officer.
at that point
Where?
going to talk to or even address the woman. He was not
Where?
trying to help the woman.
He was literally
trying
standing
to
there
hurt
filming.
the dude.
You can see it happening. Like we're watching him standing
Filming
there filming.
is irrelevant.
And he gets shoved in pepper
Filming is
sprayed.
irrelevant. What was the case law on that? Just because you're filming doesn't mean that the laws change.
I'm guessing this is where you were talking about the guys all on top of him while he's on the ground.
Well, sure, but you're saying that he was like assaulting an officer and like resisting, but all I see him is like he's getting pushed back and he's getting pepper sprayed and he's not fighting back at all. Okay,
can we back up and acknowledge if we agree on what physical contact or what obstruction or anything would mean? Can you pull this down, Speakeasy, please?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So do you agree that, let's say my camera is the initial officer that he interacts with, the one that pushes the woman, the one that pepper sprays him. If I do that,
that's not
while
what
he's
happened. We just saw it. It literally just played.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead and answer the question I didn't ask yet. Go ahead.
His eyes from the pepper spray and to show that he's not a threat by raising his arms up.
Okay, so
but
the question
you somehow
was,
saw him like shoving the officer. Like, where did we see that? It just played on repeat. Like, why are we seeing such different things? It literally just played over and over, and all we saw was
calm down. Just listen to the words coming out of my mouth, and we will get through this.
How is this so difficult? I'm so confused.
Listen, and you won't be. So again, well, let's say that my camera is the officer. Do you agree or disagree that if we're not even, let's take it away from him. If this is a federal officer and he's in the commission of detaining or arresting somebody, and I do that, does that constitute assault on a federal officer? Yes or no?
That's not what happened.
That's not the question.
That's irrelevant.
Why is it irrelevant?
Because
I thought we were talking about what constitutes as assault.
What's relevant is what happened.
Okay, fine. Do you agree that if he did assault is relevant?
It would give them more of an excuse of like continuing to pepper spray him and tackle him to the ground. But
I'm not even asking if
an excuse to shoot
I'm saying,
him. Even if that did happen, which it didn't.
You're confused because you're trying to talk at me.
Pushed and he's not fighting back at all. Where's the fighting back?
Am I muted? Hello? Anybody there?
Again, and can you point exactly to like where he's fighting?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to establish a principle and then show how that principle exists in the video.
Okay, well, let's do the showing
part. I'm saying we got to do the first part first. So again, I understand this is not what happened.
This camera thing doesn't work because this is a completely different angle.
I'm never debating a woman again. I'm never debating a woman again.
Okay,
please.
You don't have
finish
to if you don't
question.
want to. But the camera angle doesn't work because we can't see how far away your hand is from the camera. We can't see if you're actually like shoving the camera or if you're like shielding yourself. It's a completely different angle. We can't see the space between. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Don't forget, we still got refills for Morty, so get those supers in. Oh, you're done? Okay, so again, the question is, if my camera is an officer, and not Alex Pretti, if approach that officer while he's in the commission of detaining someone or arresting someone, and I do that, does that constitute assault on a federal officer? Yes or no? It does or it doesn't.
What is that? What is that? What happens? Can you describe what's happening there?
Just touch it, making contact. Just making contact.
Yes, touching is assault.
So if we see that Alex Pretti, before he had his hand up from being from trying to block the pepper spray that came after his hand went up, that if he went like that and brushed the officer,
brushed is different from assault.
I literally just tapped the camera and you agreed with me.
Are you going to talk the whole time or can I respond? Because there's a big difference between like, oh, you're doing something to me here, bam. That's very different from like, I'm trying to shield myself and in the commotion, I accidentally brushed you lightly. There's a very different things. Go ahead.
All right.
Well, no, tell me how it's the same.
It's not the same.
The touching you described would be assault because you described going bam. That's different from I'm trying to shield my eyes and accidentally brushed you. That's a different situation.
But that's not what happened. There are two different things. First, his hand goes up. Then he sees the pepper spray and his hand goes on.
Can we stop playing things with the camera and can we just watch it and you can like point?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, I think we just watched it, but yeah, go ahead.
That's what I think. I'm so confused.
It's because you're watching it with your heart instead of your brain.
Okay.
I also got it super slowed down for you.
Here's
Okay,
getting
so
showing the
Pushing
woman.
girl.
So he's
Guy comes
here.
in. There we
He's
go. So
shielding
right before his
himself from
hand goes
getting
up, he
sprayed.
makes contact with the officer.
Where's
Here
the
we get
contact?
from a different angle. Contact with the officer,
Where?
then the hand is up as the pepper spray is coming.
So
there is contact
here-
Where's the contact?
before his hand goes up. Why was his hand already in that position and then the pepper spray comes?
Because he can see the pepper spray is coming. He's shielding himself. And hands up is a surrendering position in general. How do you fight somebody
That's
with
just
your
code.
hands like this?
All right,
Nobody
I mean,
fights
if
like
that,
that. That's not how fighting happens.
oh, because
this
now
isn't a
now
fight.
the left is big fighters, right? Yeah, I agree. This guy is not a good fighter. I don't know what what you want from me there.
Okay. Exactly. So he's no threat. He can't even
He
fight right.
literally had a gun
He's
on him at
raising
this
his
point. What the
arms
fuck
up,
are you
and that's
talking
supposed
about?
to be like so scary. Where's the contact?
I mean, I don't know how many times I need to say it.
Can we pause it at the point where there's like the contact that
I mean,
you're
I
describing?
don't have
'Cause I'm
control
not
of the
seeing it.
video, so we can try, but try this angle. Or this, yeah, either one.
So
This one cuts in after that. So that one doesn't that one doesn't care. So look where his hand goes before you see the spray.
Where?
You see that contact right there.
Where?
Notice how this part is not in the other video. I wonder why.
What part?
Contact?
Where do
Contact
you see
right
contact?
there. Then the hand goes up
You
because he
can't
sees the
see
pepper
anything.
spray
There's
that
a
is coming
person
because
front.
of the contact.
You're literally like making shit up. There's a person.
this
front. You
one,
can't see anything.
this one doesn't cut in there. It shows the whole thing. So it's the push. He's right here. He's right like behind the officer here,
Yeah, but doesn't it?
and it kind of
And then
goes
it cuts.
over a little bit.
Yeah,
So like
it
if you
moves
look,
over.
oh
You
here,
can't
I'll show
see.
you the best where we can see.
So exactly,
this.
it cuts off where the officer is. So you can't see in this angle whether he's touched or not.
Exactly. He's not. He can't see. So why
But
are
if
you
we
making
look
it
at
up?
the other angle,
Where? That's him holding his hand up right there. You
Yeah,
can see there's all that space between them. Of all the angles where we're gonna see if there's contact or not, this would be the one.
no, it's not. He's not even he's not even in the frame. How would we see it when he's not in the frame?
That's him here.
So he's got his hands
No, the
against his
officer.
body. They're
Can you
bent.
tell can you tell if Alex Pretti's hands
can-
are on an officer or what his hands are doing?
Yes, you can tell
They're
bent
not
like
in the
this.
frame. You are
they're
lying
like-
to
Yeah,
yourself.
Oh my god.
Well, if it, okay,
You gotta be
I don't
blind.
know. It looks like this is him here though.
Yes, that's Alex Pretty. What is
This
not on frame is
doesn't
where
look
his
like he's
hands
shoving
are,
anyone. Because that's what's going. Like where?
and then the hand goes up.
From this position, and the other one is his
Again,
phone.
this angle doesn't show it because the officer is not on camera when the
Is this the contact?
That's him pushing the
No.
other woman.
No, I mean like if
there may be prior contact. I don't. I don't know for
this
sure,
was
but-
this is just the other angle. Like he looks like he kind of like
I don't see
maybe
it.
touched
So
his
okay,
arm.
so DefNot, what is it exactly do you think he's doing then? Let's just say there was no contact. What do you think he's doing?
Let's just say there wasn't. We don't see any. But okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm willing to concede that.
It looks like he's trying to help up the other woman.
No,
and
I'm
he's
willing to
shielding his
concede that for
face
the
from
sake of the
pepper spray.
discussion,
We
so that
see
we
it
can move on.
happening.
Because
Are you gonna
that
talk over me the
doesn't.
whole time? If you ask a question, you gotta let me respond, dude. You can't just keep like. You good? Okay. Yeah. So what he's doing is he turns around to help up the other woman, and then he's realizing that like there's still something going on. He turns around, he's getting pepper sprayed. He puts his arm up to shield himself, and then he keeps getting shoved back, and he doesn't shove the other guy back. He keeps going backwards. That's not resisting. He's getting pushed, and he keeps stepping back.
Okay,
What part
I
of that
disagree
is
with
resisting?
you, but even if I'm willing to move on and say even if in that situation he did not instigate that, then at that point he's being maybe or well in that case it would be incorrectly arrested. So if that happens, he's being under arrest when he didn't do anything wrong. What is the proper thing to do if you are under arrest
Who's under
and
arrest?
you didn't do anything wrong,
Who is being arrested here?
what is the proper what is the proper thing to do if you are under arrest and you did not do the thing you're being arrested for?
To
Do you
comply.
fight back? Do you resist?
To comply.
Okay, and so then even if there was no contact,
nobody is under arrest
hold
here. He's being
on,
shoved
hold
by a guy who's
on,
stepping back.
hold on. Even if there was no contact, which there was, even if there wasn't,
You
then
can't
he
just
was
keep
still
granting yourself
resisting
which
arrest.
there was. when we
Correct?
literally saw there
Correct. He was
wasn't.
resisting arrest.
I don't see him resisting arrest. I see him being shoved back, and he keeps stepping back.
So go back to the video and show me where he lays flat and puts his arms back. Why did it take
How do you
7
expect him
guys
to
if
do
he
that
wasn't
on
resisting?
slippery ice
What
when he's
were
blind
the
and
7
he
guys
can't
doing
see?
if it didn't?
And he wasn't even being like, okay, we have to get the body camera footage because at this point there is no indication whatsoever that he's being arrested. He's being pushed back. Usually when you arrest somebody, you try to like grab their hands and handcuff them. You don't like shove them away from you. That's not how people usually arrest other people. Like,
Not if somebody's
I've seen
coming
people
at
get
you from the
arrested and it
side and you
doesn't
don't
look
see
like
what's
that,
going on. You're
okay?
dealing with somebody else and some guy jumps in. It's so easy to
What do you mean?
look
He
at
shoved
this
this woman
from
away, like F off, bitch.
yeah,
Like there's
from
no
hindsight in slow motion
arrest
and
who?
frame by frame.
You're making up this entire story with no evidence. All we know is what we see, and we don't see what you're saying. We don't see anybody
Who's
getting
we?
arrested. We don't see put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest. We didn't see any of that. We see a guy coming up to another guy and shoving him, and then pepper spraying him in the eyes, making him blind. He's blind. He is in pain. He can't tell what's going on anymore. He is on slippery ice. He's like flopping around, and then they
All good
they
reasons
attack
to
him.
comply.
That's what he's doing the best he can. How
Then
easy
why?
is it to
Then why did it take 7 guys?
You expect him to literally, like, while being pepper sprayed in the eyes, when it's human instinct to shield your eyes, you try being pepper sprayed
Then why
and
was
you
his hand?
stand
I
there.
thought his hands are up here, or his eyes are up here. You said shielded your eyes, but his hands are up
he's
here.
going
It's
from,
almost
"Don't
like there was
hurt me,"
already
to,
emotion,
"Please stop."
and it was the momentum.
What are you talking about? This is a surrender position to begin with.
You just said cover your eyes when that's not what he did.
Yes, he goes in this sort of situation. You can tell at some point it goes to covering his eyes because it's human instinct.
Okay, so I just clarifying. You're seeing the hand up here.
Yes,
as him covering
he
his
starts out here, and then as he's
Okay.
getting sprayed,
I mean, again,
he tries to shield
very
his
clearly, I
eyes.
see it very differently than you. But
It's
I mean,
human instinct to do that. I don't know what else to tell you. Like you try getting pepper sprayed in the eyes and see what you
disagree.
do.
I don't disagree. Is it? Do you think it would be safe to once the officers are aware that there is a gun in the situation? Is it safe for officers to assume that there's just the one gun?
Yeah.
That's safe?
Yeah, that's generally what they do.
That
Unless
wasn't
you
the
can
question.
verify that there's
You're saying it's safe to
if
be
they
like,
don't
well,
see
we got the
another
gun off
weapon,
him,
they
so he
don't assume
definitely
that there's
doesn't
another
have
weapon.
any other
That's
weapons on
stupid.
him. I just want to be clear that that's what you're saying. It's safe for officers to assume that an armed individual has no additional weapons.
It's as safe as it possibly can be without them making it. I'm
starting to see why we're seeing different videos.
In the context of is it a justified killing? No, they don't assume if they just disarm somebody, officers, no matter what kind of officer, whether it's like federal, local, doesn't matter. If they disarm somebody, they don't assume he has another gun and start shooting. That's not what happens. That's not.
That's the opposite of what I asked you. I didn't say should officers assume that anybody has a gun has more guns. That's not what I said. I said, is it safe to assume that because an armed individual, or is it safe to assume an armed individual only has one arm? Arm meaning, gun or whatever. And you said yes. So I just want to make sure the situation is.
Yeah,
we
generally,
have an
if
armed
they don't
suspect.
see another gun,
May I finish?
they don't assume there's another gun. That's not how that works.
Okay,
I don't know
again,
what
if
else to
you
say
think
about
that's
this. That's
safe,
just how it
I'm
works.
starting to understand why you see a very different thing from the same video. Do you think officers can instantly know whether a weapon has been secured during a violent struggle like that?
Yes, they're trained to do that.
They're trained to know the instant that something happens. They all get what, Neuralink, and it just
The guy
into their
that
brain?
shot him was right next to the guy that took the weapon.
Okay, so can officers
He saw
instantly
the holster
know
empty.
how?
He was right there when his friend.
How do the officers
removed-
become aware of the fact that the threat is no longer there?
By seeing it.
So they have to see something or hear something. They don't instantly know just because the weapon's been secured.
They have to know and confirm that there is a real threat. Just because somebody says gun in general doesn't mean they just start blindly shooting, because we don't even know like where the gun is. It could have been coming from somewhere else. It could have been like another person from behind them. You don't know what gun in general means. It's not their training to just start like blindly shooting in a pile of bodies when somebody shouts gun.
Are you just gonna straw man everything I say?
What are you saying?
I'm asking you whether officers can instantly know something, and you're saying, well, they shouldn't just kill anybody. What do those have to do with the things that I said?
They are trained to look at a situation and instantly assess what's going on. And if they looked at the situation, they would instantly see that he is being held down by 7 other of their buddies, and his holster is empty. And
but I thought he was complying. Why did he? Why do they need 7 guys if he was complying?
What is going on?
Why did they need 7 guys if he was complying? It seems like they would need 7 guys because he was struggling.
I don't see like why like there being 7 of them, or like one of them is supposed
because
to mean
if somebody
like,
is just laying there with their hands behind their back, then you don't need 7 guys for that.
What do you mean?
And there was other people around, right? There was the girl that was shoved. There was other people around. So it seems to reason that if there's 7 guys there,
we don't know like what they were thinking.
Never gonna get the
I can't read their
design.
minds, so I don't know why exactly they needed 7. I don't know. We can't read their minds.
You are trying to read their minds.
We don't know exactly why they wanted 7. Maybe they all just wanted to go in and like punch them up a little bit because they recognized them from before and they felt disrespected from that other video.
What?
We don't know that.
You don't really think that.
We don't know that. And you don't know that.
I mean,
we don't know
sure,
why
it's not impossible.
It's completely
but do you think
irrelevant.
it is
what is true, what we know for a fact, is that there were 7 of them, and there was one of him, and he was on the ground, and they were holding him down.
Oh, poor baby.
He was subdued already.
You got my feelings hurt, and now that changes the law. Can you make a legal argument?
Yeah, that is the legal argument. The legal argument is they have to
execution in the streets.
Is that what I sound like? Okay. Well,
a little bit.
Sure, but I'm telling you what the legal situation is. It doesn't matter, like, if they decided that, oh, well, there's going to be 7 of us or 5 of us. The situation is in that moment that lethal force is actually applied. Is it necessary? And the answer is no in this case. It's very obvious from everything that we have available. It's very obvious.
So did the officers have everything that we have available at the time? Or did we explicitly state that that's not how these are legally determined?
Their own reports don't state that he reached for the gun or that they thought he
had
another one or
Spanish?
Anything.
Why can't I'm asking super simple, basic yes or no questions?
Well, their own reports don't state what you're trying to state, so I don't know why you're saying that.
I don't even. How did we get here? What did I even just say? I don't even remember the question because.
Okay.
I don't know. One of us is having a really bad night. I don't understand what you. What the fuck did I even just ask you?
It's okay. Take your time.
Chat. What did I just ask her? So, okay, whatever. Let's go back to, what did you say about, justified. So how would you, you define justified, but can you, give me that definition again, please?
Justified killing is if it's right, necessary, and permitted under the rules.
Necessary and permitted under the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the legal standard?
Yeah, generally.
Generally?
I think so.
You sure it isn't the thing that I read out specifically?
I mean, if you can...
Graham v. Connor, 1989, requires courts to judge force
like
from the perspective of a...
So I'm a little lost here.
That's why I'm catching you up, sweetie.
Well, can you summarize
if you
it
shut
in,
your trap,
if
you shut your trap, you'll understand, I promise.
Okay,
Graham,
you don't have to read the whole thing.
Oh, nope. All right, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Do you disagree that justified killing means right, necessary, and permitted under the rules?
No. You're not just going to breeze by that. You said that it is necessary. Necessary is a part of the legal justified definition. And I said, nuh-uh, Graham v. Connor, 1989 requires courts to judge force from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, not with the benefit of hindsight.
Sure, I don't disagree. I agree. I even mentioned earlier.
Okay,
Would a
but then
reasonable
you just
officer
made the
with
argument
facts
based on what
available at
you
that
and I
moment-
know now. That was the question. That was the question. Did the
Okay, go
officers
ahead.
know what
We'll
you
come
and
back
I
to
know now? What you and I know now. Either way, whether you want to take my position or your position, did the officers have that much information at that time?
They had enough information to know that he was not a threat to them.
The question was, did they have that information?
Yes.
I'm not asking you if in your opinion, if you thought they had enough information or not. That's not the question. The question is,
That's
let's
what you
say,
just said.
let's just make it easy. Let's make it easy.
make
All
it
right.
easy.
Let's say there's 100 units of knowledge to this as of right now. There's 100 units of knowledge. And
Okay.
maybe we disagree. So, we're somewhere we're each on the 95 for 95 knowledge units for whatever our narrative is. The question is, how many knowledge units did the officers have at the time?
Enough.
Did they have the same amount as we do now? Or did they have less information? Did we get more information after the fact?
I
Do
think
you
it's
understand the
obvious
question?
that in any event, during
Yes,
the time
they did, or
where
no, they
it's
didn't.
occurring,
They did.
You
It was
have
more.
slightly
It
less
was less.
information, but that doesn't mean they didn't have enough information to know that this is not
Okay,
necessary.
so then what information
a
did they
reasonable
have?
officer would look at this guy being held down blind by 7 other dudes and conclude that he is not a threat.
How are you making this determination that they? What is the metric
I
that
am
you're
being
using?
reasonable. Reasonable officer being the key word.
Okay, but you're not an
reasonable.
officer, so I mean, unless you are, have
I'm a
you
reasonable
been-
human being.
That okay? I disagree, but not really relevant.
Okay.
So again, you are making a claim that they had enough information.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to ascertain, how did you make that
I
determination?
just told you
whether
they had 7 dudes.
Oh, so it's just
holding
your
down
feelings.
One dude
I feel like they
that
did
is
enough,
blind
so
on the ice.
that's
It
what
is
I
simple
think.
math.
Well, I mean, are you just going to go?
Well, I feel like it was bad, and they shouldn't have had to do that, and they
It's
knew
called
everything
math and
all the
physics.
time.
Are you done?
I'm just waiting for you
I
to
said it's
verify the
math
claim
and
that you
physics.
made.
7
You said
versus 1 in physics. He's on the ground. They are holding
okay.
him
So
down.
then you're
I don't know
going
how
back
else
to the
say this.
standard.
Like a,
Okay, so
Do you
then
have
you're going
anything
back to the
else?
standard that more of them means that the guy is not a threat.
yeah, they're holding him down.
So again, it is impossible to be held down and also fling your arm back and get a knife or have something in your jacket, or it had multiple layers. You could have had it right there. Could have been in a shoe. That all of that is impossible.
The fact that any of that is theoretically
no,
possible in
please,
some universe
please.
has nothing to do with the situation.
I'll ask you nicely. Can you
Officers
please
have
just
to
answer my
recognize
questions instead
an
of rambling?
actual threat that they can identify.
So yes,
They can't be,
yes, it's
guessing
impossible,
if
or no,
there's
it's not
something
impossible.
when there's no reason to do so.
Is it impossible, or it's not impossible?
Irrelevant.
You made the claim, so I'll fair enough. I don't think it's relevant. I
In
think
this
it's
situation
extremely
that we
relevant
actually
that if
saw,
it is possible that
was
he has
not
another
possible
weapon,
because
that
they
he
were
can
holding him
do
down.
serious bodily harm or lethal force, which is exactly the standard that we're looking for. I think that's the debate. Anything else about how sad it is and how mean everybody is? Or you want to talk about anything legal or actually principled or something that you can back up? Or are you just going to say a bunch of feelings?
Yeah, a reasonable officer with the facts available at that moment,
Okay.
not guessing.
I heard
whether
that
he
claim. Can
has
you
a gun
verify
hidden
that claim?
somewhere. I'm trying to. Are you going to let me talk? I'll let you talk. You good? At that moment, they have to conclude that lethal force is or isn't necessary in that exact moment. In the exact moment when the first shot was fired, he was just disarmed by his buddy standing right next to him and being held down by 7 dudes.
Did the officers know that he'd been disarmed?
That
How
a
did the
reasonable
officers-
person would look at that situation and then be like, yep,
Okay.
let's pop up a couple rounds into him.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong with the order of events here. With scuffle happened, we'll put aside whether the assault was there or not. They're now on the ground, and someone's yelling, "Gun, gun, gun, gun." At what point do the other officers know? Because obviously the one who took the gun off him knew that he had taken the gun off him. when did the other officers become aware of the fact that the threat of the gun was no longer there?
When the guy that was standing literally right next to him looked at him and saw that the gun was no longer there.
How did you know that? He
Because
told you
we
he saw
see
it?
the other guy right next to him, and
No,
in order,
but
so
again,
what
you
you're
can't go
claiming
based
right
on the
now is
video.
he
You have to
shot
go based on
blindly
what
into a
they
pile
know.
of bodies
You're
without
assuming that
looking
because you can
first.
pause
Is that
it
what
and
you're
you can see,
claiming?
oh, look, his holster is empty. That's not the standard. That's not how the law works.
That literally is to identify in that moment.
So I'm just
is
making
there
up
a
Graham v.
threat? Because
Graham v.
in that
Connor?
moment, there was
Am I
not
making
a
that up?
threat. No.
Am I making that up? Or is that how the law works?
Right beforehand. Look, I don't know where you're trying to take this because we can see he is being disarmed by the guy right next to the guy that ends up shooting him. They are right next to each other. This isn't like a big scuffle. It's somewhere across the way up front. A guy hears gun. He doesn't know what's going on. He starts like blindly shooting into a pile of bodies of his buddies. That is not what is going on. They have to see where they're shooting. And in order to see where they're shooting, they would have to see that the gun is not on him.
Okay.
This is obvious logical things. I don't know how this is confusing for you.
Can we just get like a basic like Google AI summary of Graham v. Connor? Like I mean, if you want to pretend I'm making shit up, then okay, cool. I mean, we did just watch Nate the Lawyer and said anybody who doesn't know about Graham v. Connor doesn't know jack shit about what they're talking about. Let's do this. I'll put what I have in my opening statement in the private chat, and then we'll pull it up and we'll see if it's the same. So again, if you want me to read it while he's pulling that up, Graham v. Connor, 1989, the best year ever for people being born, requires courts to judge force from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, not with the benefit of hindsight. Meaning, the information that you and I have now is more because we have hindsight. So you are saying, based on your own hindsight,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
It was bad.
I literally just said an officer has to look right there on the spot and assess the situation. And in that moment,
then you
they
made
would
the claim
have
that
seen
he
what I just
saw.
described, 7
You
other
made the
dudes
claim
on
that he
him
saw
and no
the empty holster.
They have
How
to
do you
assess
know?
at the time
How
of
do you know
shooting.
that
I
he
just said
saw
all
it?
this.
I
What are you
know
talking
that.
about?
How
This is
do you?
literally what I
I
just
know
said.
you saw it. I know you saw it in the video. I'm not claiming that the gun was not taken.
So are you
That's
saying
not the
he
question.
shot blindly
Listen to
into
the
a pile of bodies without looking first?
Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
No, you're not making sense.
Okay, so let's slow it down.
Jesus Christ.
At what point?
Oh no, I said Jesus. Oh my goodness. I'm going to
That's
hell.
me. At what point did the other officers become aware of the fact that the officer took the gun off of Pretti and and ran off? At what point did all the officers there know? Because that's the standard.
The standard is for all of them to know something? Because clearly all of them... What are you...
Because if one doesn't know and hears a gunshot and reasonably fears for his life, that's not a great situation, but that is legal.
I can excuse the rest of them because after one dude starts firing, I understand why the rest of them kind of fell in line and they had a panic. I understand that. The first shot is what I'm complaining about. The first guy shot for no reason. The other officers didn't feel the need to shoot. All of the other officers also heard gun. None of them decided to start piling bullets into him until the first guy went off.
So first they were emptying bullets into an empty body, and now none of them shot?
They shot after
Which
the
one
first
is it?
guy did. Do you want to watch the video again? Because I'm down to do that.
Not really.
Because we
I've
can
seen
see the
it
first officer
times. I know you're not super familiar with it, but I've watched it a lot.
So he
I've
had
watched
to
it
have
from all the
seen
different
what
angles.
was going on.
I've looked at the legal casework here. All you're giving me is, well, I saw that it was this, so they must have saw that too. Again, I will ask you, at what point did all of the officers become aware that the gun had been cleared? At what point did all of the officers become aware that the gun was cleared?
All of the officers is irrelevant. We're talking about the guy that actually started
irrelevant.
shooting.
That is the legal standard.
The legal standard is all of the officers have to
Hold
suddenly
on,
be aware
hold
of
on.
something
I'll
that
give
makes
you
no
the
sense.
exact one.
What we're talking about here is the guy who actually started shooting. What was he aware of? That is the question. And he was right next to the guy that removed the weapon, and he had to have looked before he shot.
He had to have?
Otherwise, yeah,
He had to
because
have? How do you
otherwise
know
the
that he
argument
did?
is he shot into a pile of his buddies.
I think they did shoot into a pile of their buddies. I think they're fucking retarded.
Okay,
That
so
doesn't
we
mean
agree that
the
this
law
wasn't
doesn't work.
justified because you shouldn't shoot into a pile of your buddies. Thank you.
Yeah, agreed. It's
Okay,
stupid, not illegal.
Justified. Conversation over.
Nope. You just decided that. You just decided.
You
I thought
agreed.
we. What?
You just agreed.
I'm talking about
What are you
legal
talking about?
justification. Just because I think it's stupid doesn't mean that it's illegal. Again, this isn't
We're
about
talking about
feelings. This is about
justified.
the law.
You just
It is
agreed it wasn't
justified by
justified
the
to
law.
shoot into a
I
pile of
don't like it
buddies.
either. I don't think he should have died. That was the first fucking thing I said. It's a tragedy.
I'm not
It should
asking
not
for
have
your
happened.
opinion on whether he should or shouldn't have. I'm saying, was it justified? And we just agreed
By
that
the
it wasn't
law,
justified.
yes, you just admitted it based on the merits or the criteria that is listed in the law. You just explicitly stated
Go
that
ahead.
it was justified.
No, I explicitly stated it
I know you
wasn't.
don't. I know you don't understand that because you don't understand the law.
Right,
But the things
I'm
that you
silly.
said,
I'm sorry. Do you want to explain again?
the things that you said amount to exactly what I said in the opening.
Do you want to explain again the law?
So Graham v. Connor, you can't use hindsight.
I'm
So
not
all
using
this-
hindsight.
Do you want me to explain it or you don't want me to explain it?
You're just repeating yourself. I thought you had something new.
You just said you didn't understand. I'm trying to explain it, and you said you don't understand. If I want to explain it again, 3 words into explain it again, you're like, oh my God, you're just explaining it again.
I
Do
thought
you
you
get
had
it or
something
you don't
new.
get it?
I thought
You
we
get
already
it or
covered
you
that
don't
was
get it?
not justified according to that, but okay, go ahead.
What was that? What was that?
I thought we already passed that. Like, you agreed that it wasn't
did, but
justified,
you
and
said
we
you
were
didn't
moving on and you had
understand.
something else,
We
but you
did.
came back to the original thing again, so.
Yeah, because you said you didn't understand, so you do understand.
It seemed like you had another point that I wasn't understanding, but no, that one is obviously in my favor, so I
So
don't know
we'll
what you're
go
talking
back
about.
to at what point did all of the officers become aware that Alex Pretti had no weapons on him?
They originally didn't even know he had a weapon on him.
Mm-hmm. So
the
again, the
beginning.
question is, at what point did they know that there was no other weapons on him?
That's not... What kind of question is that?
Please, humor me.
Officers
Maybe
don't
I'm
go
retarded
around
and
and
this
attack
has nothing to
somebody
do
and
with
say,
anything, but please
maybe
just
he
answer the
has another
question.
gun hiding somewhere.
It's
We have
almost
to
like you know you're
check in the
wrong,
shirt
so
just
you're
in
pretending
case-
this is
Just
irrelevant.
in case we're going to shoot a person, just in case they're hiding any other
At
weapons.
what
If they don't
point?
see another weapon, there's no reason
At
for them to
what
assume there is another
point?
weapon. That is not how this works.
If I super chat it to Easy, will you answer it?
What?
At what point did all of the officers become aware that Alex Pretti did not have any weapons on him? That is the only thing that I've been trying to talk about for the last 15 minutes.
In the
At what
beginning, they
point?
started out as not knowing there were any weapons on him
Mm-hmm.
until one of the guys saw that his back was exposed, and then he took the gun, and the guy next
So
to
that's
him
one
became
guy.
aware. So originally, it
Wait,
was
whoa, whoa,
basically
whoa, 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 whoa,
all
whoa,
of them
whoa,
did not
wait,
think
wait,
there
whoa,
was
whoa,
a
whoa. You
gun.
just skipped over the whole thing. You just skipped over the whole thing. So I agree that we have the one guy that took the gun. He was aware about it
And the
sometime
guy
before
next to
he.
him, obviously, because he was right there. And he
So-
was looking
so
at what
you
he was
are-
shooting
so
at,
you-
because
so
you don't
you
shoot
don't have-
blindly. That is stupid.
So you don't think there's any aspect of adrenaline, tunnel vision, focusing on this? You just know all of the things that happen in your general vicinity all the time, especially when you're in a life or death situation. Is that your argument here?
We know
That
what
because
a
it was
reasonable
there,
officer
he
would
must have seen it?
and a reasonable officer would have looked at the situation.
Yes,
And we
that's what
have
you're
videos
saying,
of
or
the
no, that's
situation,
not what you're saying.
So we know what they would have seen.
Yes, that's what you're saying, or no, that's not what you're saying.
I'm saying we know what they would have seen. We can reasonably
Okay,
deduct by
but-
looking
okay,
at the
but
video.
my
of
question.
it.
See again, I don't remember. I don't even remember. You just babble for so long. I don't even remember what the question was.
I'm the one doing that. Go ahead.
At what point did all of the officers become aware that Pretti had no weapons? You're saying that because the guy who actually took it, I agree with you that he was aware. Then you skipped over the whole point. Okay, fine. So then unless you're claiming that because the man who had the gun was physically there, they must have seen him. Is that your
The
argument?
guy that was right next to him and started shooting with the vision of literally
You ever seen
Pretti
the?
on the ground
You ever
with
seen
the
the?
holster visible.
Yep, they all do.
It was
They
very
all do.
obvious that he was no longer holding a weapon. Or
Okay,
even
do
he
you-
wasn't
have
even
you
holding
ever-
it in the first place. The weapon was no longer on him anywhere. That was very obvious.
Okay,
He was right in the middle of his back, and you could see the holster was empty.
Okay, so
Because
are you aware?
we have video of that. Go ahead.
Are you aware of fuck, I don't remember what it's called. It's a psychological thing where selective focus, maybe. There's a video where they like a bunch of people are standing around with a basketball, and they ask you to count how many do the people in red and whatever, and then you get to the end of the video, and it's like, did you notice the gorilla? And there's a gorilla that walks through the frame, and because you're focused on counting the basketballs or counting the whatever, then most people, I can't give you a number, but it's higher than 50%. Most people don't fucking notice the gorilla, and they're not in a life or death situation. They're just counting basketballs.
Exactly.
But
so
you're
in a
saying,
situation,
you're
they
saying
would probably
that
know exactly what's
CBP
going
is
on in
so
front of them
well
if they're shooting
trained.
somebody.
They're so well trained that despite shooting into a circle of their buddies, that they are fucking mega mind. They're fucking the Manhattan, Mr. Manhattan. And
so
if it's
you
in the
agree
vicinity,
it wasn't
then you
justified
know.
because they shot into a circle of
Yeah,
their
I
buddies.
just want to make sure that's your
another
position.
reason that it wasn't justified. Thank you. I'm glad we agree.
What is that? What was the other reason?
You said that because they shot into a circle of their buddies. I agree. It wasn't justified for that reason also.
No, that just makes it stupid. That doesn't make it illegal.
It makes it illegal. You can't shoot. You can't just shoot at your fellow officers. What are you talking
They
about?
didn't shoot at their fellow officers. They shot at Alex Pretti, who was
You just
actively
agreed
resisting
that
arrest.
He shot into a general area without even looking
Oh,
at
now
him.
it's the general area.
So either he didn't
So what's the?
look
Is it
and
6
shot
feet? Is it 6
blindly.
feet? Is it 6 feet and 3 inches? What's the distance that you need to be?
They were piled onto him.
What's the distance?
And if you're saying that he
What's the
wasn't
distance?
looking,
What's
he had
the
to have shot at
distance?
his
What's the
buddies.
distance?
Logic.
Did we lose her? What is the distance they need to be for it to be okay?
For what to be okay? Distance between what?
To shoot in the direction where other people are. We are saying we both agree that they were too close to each other, but you're claiming that it's unjustified because of the fact
I'm
that they were
saying
too
that
close.
either
So
he
my
saw
question
what he was
is,
doing
what is
or
the
he
distance?
didn't.
What is the distance they must be before a shot like that would be justified? If they were 6 feet away and they shot towards each other, would that be okay?
I'm not talking about distance here. We just
You
discussed
literally
that-
are, dude.
No,
Oh
I'm
my
not.
God.
We're saying either he was looking at what
I
he was
don't-
shooting at, in which case he would have seen
You-
that he was not armed, or he wasn't looking at what he was shooting at, and he was shooting into a pile of his friends. So either he was looking or he wasn't looking. In either case, it's bad.
Again, agree, but bad does not
And
mean
just-
illegal.
It's unjustified. Bad for them legally.
According to your
not
definition,
justified.
according to your opinionated definition that it must be necessary, that's not how the law defines justified. I don't care how you feel about it. I also feel that it was a bad situation. Dude should not have died. Unfortunately, the way that the laws work enable those officers to do the stupid action that they did. Because of the stupider action
No,
that Pretti
they
did.
don't enable them to do that.
All right, so you want to bet $1,000 that the officers get off?
Sure. I mean, they're investigating them as of a couple days ago. So, yeah, that's fine.
You really, I mean, I don't know where else to go with that. If you just think that, well, I saw that his thing was empty, so therefore it must be that the other officers also saw.
The guy that was shooting, the guy that
If
shot
that's your
first,
standard,
the man
then
that
you're
shot
just
first
making
had
shit
to have
up.
seen because he was shooting.
And it's
at
fine
him.
for you to make shit up and think whatever you want to think, but that doesn't, just because it hurts your fifis doesn't make it legally unjustified.
Why are you going on about fifis? What are you, 5? We're talking about logically deducting something here. If he has to be shooting at the guy, he has to be looking at the guy. Or he's shooting
Right.
into a pile of bodies, including his friends. You have two options here, and both are not justified shootings. Either he's not even looking and he's blindly like pew pew pew, or he is looking and he knows he's not armed. Pick one.
Okay, so are you? I'm just making sure that you're saying because of the fact. Actually, I don't even know. Can you? Okay, can you explain? Maybe I'm stupid. Can you just lay out in like 1 or 2 sentences the TLDR? This was not justified because. I know I'm not saying you haven't said that, but I just want to be crystal clear.
Because the officer that started the shooting had to have either seen that he was disarmed by looking at him, or not looked at what he was shooting at, which would have included the other officers. In either case, it's not justified.
Okay, so how do you know?
It
that
has to be
he
one of the
did-
two.
So again, that's not how the law works.
It
Like,
can't be
okay,
one of the...
fine. Pull up whatever legal doctrine or case or whatever that says necessary is a part of the legal definition of justified.
I mean, if you really need it to be, it's not like we're talking...
Yeah, I do, because you think that your feelings go above the actual law. That's not... I understand how you feel.
Well,
I generally feel the same
just
way.
FYI, the topic doesn't
That's
say
not the law.
legally justified. It says just justified in general. But sure.
Okay, so justified in your personal humble opinion? Okay, great.
And for like
in
any
my
reasonable
humble
person.
opinion, it's not justified. So where the fuck does that leave us?
I mean, if you really want me to look it up, I will.
Yes, I do, because I want you to see that you're just making shit up.
Okay.
You don't understand that you're bringing in things that needn't be brought in or shouldn't be brought in, and you're leaving out things that are relevant. There's no necessary. How do you know in any case that it is absolutely necessary for a shot to be fired, that there's absolutely no way that this can be solved without a shot being fired? That would be necessary. You need to make that determination in the time you are given. And that is why that is not part of the law. If you want me to read it again,
apparently it is.
Okay, prove me wrong. Again, so she's going to pull up something that says justified includes necessary. When we're talking about a legal justified shooting, this must say that the shooting was necessary. And that is silly, because to claim that it is necessary means that you know all of the possible outcomes. And that's not how humans work. But I'll wait.
Deadly force may not be used unless it is necessary to prevent the escape and the officer has probable cause to believe that the suspect poses a significant threat of death or serious physical injury.
You mean like having a gun on you?
Others. So necessary
like
is
having a gun
like
on you?
In there. So I think, are you like cool with that now? Can we move on?
If you say correct, Lutch, I was wrong about that. The necessary that you just said feeds exactly into what you said, Lutch. We can absolutely move on if you're willing to say that.
No, the necessary was part of my definition. You said it wasn't part of legal definition. I looked it up just to be sure, and it is. So just like, are you done now?
You want to take a semantic win that not the action was necessary, but the definition includes the word necessary. That's what you want to hang your hat on?
What? You're the one that demanded I look up the semantics of the specific
right,
word
but what
necessary.
you said does not equate to this must be necessary.
I'm saying necessary as a concept is part of the law.
Right.
You want me to,
what is necessary is listed,
word.
And what is necessary is not that is the only option. That is a different definition of something being necessary, meaning that there can be no other option. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Okay, so when I was originally discussing this, I was bringing up the word necessary as part of...
You agree or disagree with that?
Every time you're going to talk over me? Okay.
Or disagree?
Let me know when you're done.
Yeah, you're not going to answer my question.
Let her answer, go ahead.
She's not answering.
Because I was trying to talk and you kept just talking over me. I mean, that's
because I asked you a question and you didn't answer the question and you're just rambling about bullshit. I'm asking relevant questions to the thing that we're trying to talk about, and you're just saying other shit. Why do you feel that it's a good faith to just hear my question and just be like, nah, fuck you, I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about?
I don't. Sorry, feelings. I thought that wasn't allowed. So what I was saying
not
is,
in the law, but again, this is not a legal proceeding. This is a debate on YouTube. And yes, you are being very disrespectful to me and it's hurting my feelings because maybe I'm a little beta bitch. But last time I checked, it was disrespectful to hear somebody ask you a question and say, fuck you, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about. Do you disagree? She's not going to answer that either. She's not going to answer that either.
Rewriting history, and the fact that you just rewrote it in this case shows that like you clearly are used to doing that. So I don't see why we have to trust your word for anything. But okay. Because I was really trying to talk, and you started yelling over me.
Oh my God, the projection. I'm citing case law, and you're saying I feel this, and telling me that it's not about my feelings. I
Okay,
agree.
this is getting too meta.
We agree.
Can we just move on to the necessary part? Because I brought up the word necessary as a concept. You demanded that I find that actual word as a semantic thing in the law. The word
No,
necessary.
not as a semantic thing, as a substantive case that it must be the
Yes.
only thing.
It
That's
has to
what
be
necessary means.
at that moment. It has to be.
Okay, so again, legally, what does it say after that? What does it say after that? How do they define necessary? Are they defining it the way you're defining it? Or are they saying it is necessary to meet the conditions of Graham v. Connor? Those are two entirely different statements. Just because, I found necessary. Again, if that's the win you want to take, like, okay, you found the word necessary, that doesn't mean that the shooting wasn't the shooting wasn't justified.
It has to be necessary. And I already explained why it wasn't necessary, because he was being held down by 7 other dudes.
Okay, define necessary then. So let's get into that then. So maybe we're talking about different
semantic thing. I thought you were in good faith here, and here we are back in
I am in good faith. You are saying that it's necessary, and I'm saying it's not necessary. Clearly, we are having a disagreement on what we mean by necessary.
Needed to protect themselves.
Okay, right. And so that is a determination that is giving criteria as to what is necessary in order to make that choice. Not saying this is the only thing that can happen. Do you understand the difference between the two statements that I'm making?
They have to be defending themselves from
Do you understand the difference? Why are you so allergic to just answering a fucking question?
If I could try to bridge the gap here, if I'm understanding correctly, I think DefNot is using necessary as in that it's the only possible option.
Right. And so again, I'm saying, fine, if you want to hang your hat on the fact that the way that you're defining necessary is that it must meet these conditions, not that the shot had to be necessary, then you're just mixing up the words, and that doesn't change anything about the justification.
Yes, using lethal force has to be necessary, meaning there is no other option.
So how would you know there's no other option?
A reasonable officer has to determine, and
How?
I think if we look at the evidence, we can pretty logically estimate that that was not reasonable, what they were doing. So,
based
I mean,
on
I don't
what?
know how many other times I can explain everything to you, but
look, I know you're getting mad that I'm not just like, oh wow, you're right, like I did last time because I was really tired and didn't give a shit about the fucking
sure,
topic.
because you were tired. Honestly, I had way more respect for you after that because
Yeah, I bet you did, because I fucking conceded a fucking stupid 10-minute debate that I didn't give a shit about, and you got $100. Now I actually care about the topic, and I'm actually engaging, and I'm doing my best to try to make it as simple as possible. Yes
You're really
or no
not
question.
making it as simple
Agree
as
or
possible.
disagree.
You're,
And you
spurring it.
cannot answer a question. Do you think everybody watching doesn't see what you're doing? That every time I ask you a very simple yes or no question, agree or disagree question, and you go and fucking blah 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 blah. Do you think that they don't see that? Do you think that
every time you're asking the question, you start talking over me? So I don't even know what question you're asking because I'm trying to say something.
Okay,
Go ahead and ask.
So again, I will go all the way back. Are you claiming that because you saw on a video that somebody's holster was empty, and you later found out that he had no other arms on him, that the officers in the moment had that same information? That's
I'm
a
not
yes
claiming
or
that.
no question. Okay, so you're not claiming that.
You keep trying
So
to
then
bring
you're
this all like, oh, because I know what I know now, that's why this is going on. But I have never claimed that. That's been you. Every time you're the one saying that. What I've been saying from the beginning is at the time of the actual shot being fired, at that exact moment is when it matters. And what we
Right.
see from video
Correct.
evidence, from all the available evidence
But
that we
that's not-
have, the only reasonable thing we can deduce is that he did not act justifiably. It was
Okay,
not
can you-
justified what he did because it was not necessary. I don't know how many times I have to repeat myself,
Okay.
but for the last time, 7 dudes were holding down one blinded man. They had disarmed him. The guy right next to the guy who shot disarmed him. The holster was empty. They were holding his arms and limbs and everything. How is he a threat? Explain.
Because he could have another weapon.
Where? In his other butt?
Was he not wearing a jacket and a shirt and jeans? What the fuck are you talking
surrounded
about?
by 7 dudes.
What do you think a knife? How big do you
him.
think a knife has to be before it's dangerous?
There has to be an immediate threat. Not he might have another gun. That's not how the law works. It's literally
That
not
is how the law works.
It doesn't work like that. Okay, it literally
Okay,
doesn't.
so fine. Show me where I'm wrong about that. Give me the case law as to where I'm wrong about that.
Where somebody said he could have another gun and they decided that he was wrong about that. That's a very specific thing.
Okay, so let's
sure,
make a hypothetical.
maybe I could find that
let's make a
later.
very
That's
specific
very
hypothetical of this
weak.
specific point. All right, so let's say that I'm the bad guy, right? And I've got a gun aimed at a cop. Then you don't know why, you're in the moment, right? I throw that gun away, and I'm wearing a jacket just like Alex's, and I go like that. Is the cop justified to shoot me?
Yeah, I think so.
But how would he know? I'm not just grabbing for my wallet or a mint or a piece of gum.
Because you were already a threat and pointing a gun at an officer, which none of
So
those
was
things were done
Alex
here.
by
There was
getting
no
involved
reaching
while
for a
he
weapon
was
in
saying
any
that he was
way,
armed.
and there was no pointing a weapon at anybody. He never even touched his gun.
Okay,
He
yeah,
never
so
reached for it. Their own
Yes,
report
I agree.
says,
The hypothetical I gave you is a lot simpler than the real life situation. That was the point of giving you the hypothetical.
Exactly. This was
So we
a
can
more
see
complex
that-
situation
right,
where
but the
7
principle
other
follows.
dudes were holding him
The
down.
principle follows.
And he
the
never
thing that was
pointed a gun at anybody.
the justification. He doesn't need to point a gun at anybody when you are tussling and resisting
Okay,
while
so-
you have a
okay,
gun
okay.
on you.
I
That
mean,
is the
if
threat.
you're going to include
Legally,
these key
that is the
things-
threat.
Are you done? If you're going to include these key things in your hypothetical, they have to at least relate to the situation, or else it's complete
Just
garbage.
because you're too stupid to fucking understand the principle doesn't mean it doesn't apply. You are saying
Okay.
that he has to know. If I
What?
reach in
That's not
my
what happened.
hypothetical, the cop doesn't know. So it's not necessary because it could be that I'm pulling out a stick of gum.
No,
But
they
you
have
said
reasonable
that would have
suspicion
been a
because
justified
he
shooting.
was already
And so
threatening.
similarly, even though this is not as strong, the
Let me know when you're
principle
done.
remains. He does not know, or none of the cops know, whether or not he has been disarmed because he is actively fighting.
Are you done?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what stopping talking means.
Because every time you stop, you start up again and talk over me. So in your hypothetical, he was already pointing a gun at the officer, so he was posing an actual threat. And if he reached for something else in his jacket, it's reasonable to assume that after already having been pointing a gun at an officer, that he might still want to hurt him. And there were in your hypothetical, there was nobody else holding him down, preventing him from moving or anything. In reality, he never touched his gun. He never reached for his gun. Or else they would have been in the report. He reached for his gun. They didn't even try saying that. Don't you think that would be a key piece of information that would exonerate them from the world's wrath or whatever?
Yes. Do you think there's a difference between he didn't do a thing and knowing that after the fact and it being in the moment, and even though he didn't have anything on him, not knowing that that could be the thing?
They were the ones making the report. They knew in the moment that he was not reaching for anything. All of the other officers that were surrounding him.
I don't know what to do here.
None of them saw
they're
him
basic concepts of, do you understand that this is different than that? And then you talk about something that's not this or that. Do you understand the difference between being acutely aware, okay, this guy has no more weapons, he's already shown to assault with a weapon, and we are going to assume that he has no more weapons, versus afterwards, when you're making the report, being aware of the fact that in the moment you didn't know, but
What are
now
you
you're
talking
making the
about?
report and you know.
Can we talk about the actual situation here? Because your
Talk
situation
about
is
whatever you
completely
want.
different.
I mean, that's all you're doing anyway. I think I'm asking very pointed, easy questions, and you're just dodging them. And I think you know why. But yeah, go ahead. Talk about whatever you want.
I don't understand what you're getting at, honestly. You're creating
I-
a situation that
okay,
is
clear.
completely different
That's
from
clear.
the situation.
It was
Okay, go
either
ahead.
you are dodging or that you have no idea what's going on. Glad we cleared that up.
Okay, I'm confused because you're creating a situation that is very different from the one that we saw happen. You included
How so?
pointing a gun at an officer, which is a very
Why did I say that?
serious and very important point. And that is not something that happened. That context matters
Why do you think I brought up pointing the gun?
to make it go your way.
So it has nothing to do with proposing a threat.
Can you point to where there's a
So
parallel?
in both
Are you gonna talk
situations,
over me again? Can you point
We're just
to
going
what-
to ask me. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Can you point to the parallel in the actual videos that we saw that
Yes.
would be the parallel of him pointing a gun at an officer in your
Yes.
hypothetical? Go ahead.
Yes. Having a gun and resisting arrest.
Just having
Even though
a
they're
gun in
not the same
general-
exact situation, both situations are using force against law enforcement. That is the threat. That is how the law works. I'm
One-
sorry that you don't like it, but that's how the law works.
Okay.
Unless you can find some other thing that overrides what we're talking about. I mean, again, look up any of these and do whatever you want with it. We got to go over 5 minutes left, and I don't really know what else to say. So we got Graham v. Connor. We got
Let me know when you're
Cox v. Louisiana, 1965. We've got Turner v. Driver in the Fifth Circuit of 2017.
Are you done?
No, I got more. 18 USC subset 111. US v. Fayola, 1975. Any of these, if any of these are wrong, then show me.
I don't know what those numbers and letters and words mean. So
They're
you're
called
gonna-
laws, sweetie. They're
Okay,
called
great. I
laws.
have
That's
no
the
context
welcome to the
for that.
conversation.
So
Holy shit.
I don't know, like if you memorized all of
I don't know
those.
what
I
that was.
didn't.
No, I just looked them up. It's
Are
called
you done? Okay, let me know when
Google.
you're done.
What is the law in Minnesota for carrying a gun? What is the law in America for? That's how you do that.
It is not the
That's-
law
it's
that
called
if you
debate
have a
prep,
gun on
and
you,
I highly
and you're
suggest
not reaching,
that next
let me know when you're
time
done.
you do it.
Are you done now? Because every time you're done
I've
and I
been
start
done.
talking, you
We're
start talking
going
over
around
me
in
again,
circles.
and
I've
it's,
been
like, getting
done.
kinda
Yeah,
annoying.
go ahead. You take the whole time. I thought you were looking up legal things.
No, I was just waiting for you to be done. Yeah, so I actually looked this up beforehand, and it is not a thing that just having a gun on you means you can get shot. Okay, I am very super pro 2A
That's
here.
not
Maybe
what
you're
I
against that, so I
said.
understand if you're like on the lib side. That's cool.
Nope.
I'm not. So I think
Okay,
that just
that's
having
not
a
what I
gun on
said.
you doesn't mean you get shot. And
Okay,
we don't
agreed,
even see a lot of
agreed.
evidence.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna let me
so it's
talk.
almost like that's not what I
Shut the
said,
fuck
right?
up.
So it's
I
not
thought-
it's not
Okay,
just
go
having the
ahead.
gun.
That's fine.
It's
You
not
lied
just
again.
having the gun.
What?
You're strawmanning. You're strawmanning me and saying that, oh, just because you had a gun. No, it's the having the gun and also together at the same time
I was
being
getting
engaged
to
with,
that.
with the law enforcement officer. Do you understand the difference between getting killed for having a gun and getting killed for having a gun while you're attacking police?
Are you done now?
She can't answer. It's a yes or no question. Are those the same things or different things? Please, please.
Yes, and I was getting to
Thank
that
you.
because in the video we don't even really see him like resisting arrest. He's flopping around on the ground while 7 other dudes are holding him down. There is no chance that he can hurt anybody in that situation while also blind. We keep forgetting he is blind. He hardly
so
knows
do
what's
you-
going on. He never reached for his weapon. He was disarmed before he was shot. I don't know where else we can take this because
Okay, so
like you keep like going and trying to be like, what if this? What if
Do
this
you-
other situation? What if this other hypothetical was somebody pointed a gun at somebody? Like none of that is relevant.
okay. Do you see that it might be a different situation? Well, okay. You keep going back to this. Oh, 7 guys. Da, da, da. Do you think it's reasonable that if they were good, the officers they were good handling Pretti, that they would have all done that while there's other people around them doing exactly the same shit?
There's not that many other people around him. Like especially in all the videos, we can see that like there's.
Okay, so there were
Lots
other
of
people
space.
around him though. There was
I
other
don't
people
even
there, right?
see like if there is a crowd, it's way in the distance. In all of the angles, there's like plenty of empty space around them.
So were there other people there, or there was no other people there?
There were a few other people there.
Okay, so do you think that the officers in that moment would prefer to just get what up on this guy, or maybe
Yeah,
get their
it
job done
seems
and
like
get the
it.
fuck out of there?
He was disrespecting them.
He was what?
Disrespecting them.
Okay, and
There's
so are you gonna answer
there's
my
these
question?
protesters. They're obviously not fans of each
Okay,
other.
so the question was, do you think it is reasonable? Wow, there's other things going on, other people doing the same thing, and they have a job to do, that they would take the time to all gang up on one dude just for laughs?
I agree. This whole thing wasn't reasonable. Thank you.
So the question was, do you think it makes sense that 7 cops would be on one dude when there's a bunch of other dudes and chicks and whatever doing the same thing right around them? Doesn't it make more sense that if those people were around them, that they would go on to those, and the fact that 7 dudes were on one dude?
Well, he was a dude, and he was the tallest,
maybe
and
he was
like
actually
the closest,
resisting.
So
Maybe he had another weapon on him. Let's make sure he is good.
you don't make
Good
sure he
meaning-
is good
good
by
meaning
shooting him first,
secured.
and then thinking maybe he had another weapon. In order to use lethal force, there has to be an immediate threat.
According to
According to the law. In that moment, they have
Which
to
law?
see an immediate
law?
threat.
Which law?
All of them.
So the law about speeding, it says that you can only shoot somebody?
All
Is
the ones that are related to using
That's what I'm asking
lethal
you.
force by an officer. It has to be necessary. They can't be like, oh, well, he's being held down, but maybe he's got something hiding somewhere. I don't know for sure. Let's just shoot him just in case. That's not how that works.
Okay. If you think that. Anything else?
I think I made my point. I mean, I think people already have a very strong opinion, and if you're like really pro-ICE, I think that sometimes people defend them no matter what, and I think that's a big mistake, because I want the illegals out as well, but defending bad shoots isn't how you get that done.
Agreed.
And this is what
All
we're doing
right.
here.
It's a justified shoot.
So that right there will wrap up the open hour of open floor. Just real quick, want to say thank you again to both the debaters for coming out tonight. We're about to enter the final phase of the debate, the closing statements. Quick reminder to live chat: the Q&A is already up there. So if you got questions for either debater, make sure you drop them in now. And remember, Superchats, PayPal, Cash App questions, these will take priority. So if they fill the full 30 minutes, not all the free chat questions will make it there. So, if there's something you really want guaranteed asked, send it through one of those priority options. With that said, we're going to move over into closings. We're going to start with Lutch. That will give DefNot the last word since you had the first. So whenever you are ready for your closing statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
So I started my opening with saying the one thing we should all agree is that Pretti's death should not have happened, and that human life is valuable, and all of that stuff. I expressed, that I think this could have been handled a lot better. But the fact is, it's not about how I feel about this situation. It's not about finding a case law that says what is necessary for this means it must be necessary, and switching, for those of you who know, semantic obfuscation. The idea that I don't feel like she understands the concept of the difference, like the advantage that hindsight gives you in a situation like this. She keeps talking about, I saw on the video that the holster was empty, therefore he must have seen it. And again, ignored the example. Look up the example of the basketball and gorilla thing. Obviously, now that you know what it is, it won't work for you.
5
But
minutes is a long time
try it
for
with
this.
anybody. Try it with anybody. And again, that's just somebody sitting around looking at a video, counting basketballs. And in that case, people can't pay attention to everything that they're seeing. So to suggest that in a life and death situation like that, it must be that the cops saw that he had no other weapon and he was just fighting them, but also they knew he didn't have another weapon, is silly. Yeah, I mean, I laid out how we get lawful orders, we had resisting arrest, and even if I'm wrong about the brush up initially. Again, I wasn't. One of my big questions is why the fuck was that girl shoved in the first place? Probably because the whistle in the ear or whatever. But I'm not like yay ice here. I'm just trying to establish the reality of the situation, and the reality of the situation is that according to Graham v. Connor, this is precisely a justified shoot. It may not be the cleanest one, and I may not like how it went down
about the situation,
but it's my feelings are relevant to how the law works. And so other things like yeah, the whole necessary thing, I think we can all see that was like, reaching. The whole idea about, oh, he's being executed, when again, my analogy, just because you go hiking and break your ankle doesn't mean you deserve to have your ankle broken. It's just one of the things that can happen if you do that activity. Similarly, just because you were pissing off cops doesn't mean you deserve to die. But if you are fighting with cops while you are armed, then that's one of the things that can happen. Yeah, I'm not interested in just people's feelings on this. Interested in truth. I obviously agree that murder is bad, and this isn't that. Definitely not ICE no matter what, which is something that she said earlier. Yeah, then we just got a bunch of just things she pulled out of her ass, like, oh, they were too close, or they knew at the time, or all these things, just making stuff up that post hoc makes sense. That it's like, okay, well, if the guy saw the gun, then it makes sense that the other guy saw the gun. But that's just not how it works. I mean, there is a world where they did see the gun and they shot him anyway. There is a world where that happens. But based on the information that we have right now, that's not the case. And definitely based on the information that the officers had at the time, that is just not how the law works. This is an emotional appeal to, I saw that and I think it's bad. Therefore, it's not justified. And again, that is not how the law works. And I'll concede my time.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. And with that, we're going to hand the mic over to DefNot. So whenever you're ready for your closing statement, I will start the timer up with your voice.
Thanks. Again, I'm not against ICE, and at no point did I say that they were like too close or something. I don't know why you're making that up. That was all you. So it's kind of annoying, like having words put in my mouth. Anyway, so having a gun on you does not mean that he is necessarily using the gun right in that moment. Using the gun in that moment is what matters in any case that involves like an officer shooting somebody because there is a gun involved. They have to be using it, or they have to be trying to use it. They have to be at least reaching for it. None of those things happened in this case, and if they could pin him down with, again, 7 versus 1, that's math. I don't know what this like Fifi's thing that he keeps bringing up. I'm talking about math here. 7 versus 1 is enough to restrain him, which is what they were doing, and disarm him. If they could disarm him, they could just cuff him. And the guy, if there was a guy that was like near like his corner somewhere, he couldn't like see his hands, and then he like couldn't see the gun being removed, and he thought like somewhere there was a gun, maybe that would be justified. But again, he would have to look to know where to shoot, and he would either see that he wasn't actually holding a gun, in which case he shouldn't shoot, or he wouldn't be able to tell, in which case he wasn't looking where he's shooting, which would be shooting at his fellow officers. In every possible logical scenario I can think about here, this is not justified. It can't possibly be. They literally disarmed him first, and then the guy next to the guy that disarmed him started shooting. That is what we saw. And again, like, I think the video speaks for itself if you just like take a step back and look at it for a minute, and like whether you agree with the ICE generally or not, that's not relevant here. What's relevant is this particular shoot was a bad shoot. And I mean, I'm glad they're investigating it now, because if we let these kinds of things go, then people see that like this ICE thing is gonna like just shoot anybody that's legally carrying that happens to be in the way. And that's unacceptable. I think that's unacceptable, and I think the rest of the country, or at least most of them, would think that is unacceptable, and that would cause there to be less enforcement of immigration, and nobody wants that. Well, at least I think most of us here don't want that. So if we want them to actually enforce the laws about immigration and deport people that need to be deported, we can't have them shooting U.S. citizens. We can't have that. And again, if this was like, okay, they panicked and it was a mistake, that is not justified. Like, sure, even if like, okay, the whole was he filming, was he not filming, whether that's legal or not legal. I didn't bring any of that up. I don't know why he kept like bringing it up, but that is not relevant. What's relevant is, was he an immediate threat to their lives, or was there something that he was doing that would be immediately causing them great bodily harm? And it was literally impossible for him to do that because they were holding him down. 7 dudes against 1 is just math. I don't know how many like times I have to say the same thing for it to like finally hit, but I think that's where I'm at. So I'm cool with like if there's questions I'll answer or whatever, but I'm done.
All right. Thank you for that closing statement. That will conclude the closing statements. Great work from both debaters tonight. Again, out there in the chat, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of the debates we host here on the Swords of Reason. Again, we run all kinds of matchups: political, cultural, social, philosophy, trending topics. Literally anywhere there's a conversation worth clashing over, we bring it into the arena. And also, don't forget to subscribe to tonight's debaters as well. Their links are in the description. Show them support for stepping into the arena and sharpening their arguments tonight. And I'm pretty sure they're both live right now as well. So go over to their live stream, show them some support, send them super chats, all of that. And now, before I start the timer for the chat Q&A, I always like to ask a question or two for each side, just based off things I heard during the debate, maybe something I wanted, maybe deserved one more pass, or a point I think was missed on something, or anything like this. And then once those questions are answered, we'll get into the official 30-minute chat Q&A. So first is I'm gonna start with the affirmative side. So like if while you're maintaining that the agents were justified due to threat, like what is the like what would be the specific evidence for you that supports the conclusion that Pretti posed a lethal risk to the officers at the moment the shots were fired? Like, because when we see in the video, like I think it's pretty clear now with all the different angles, he was disarmed, and he wasn't, maybe we can't see at least the actively reaching for his weapon. So what is the specific evidence that supports he's a lethal risk to the officers?
So just by engaging while you are armed
probably most
is
people
the
disagree,
threat,
so
according to the law.
it's nice that there's
If
a few
you
of you guys.
if you engage,
Thanks for coming.
you don't even have just arguing and stuff. Then if it raises to the level that they feel, they, again, being in the middle of the street, they have the legal justification to use the open hand push to get you out of the public ways. I think I quoted that from Cox v. Louisiana, 1965. It shows that is, it was he engaged initiated the situation. So once it's there, then it's not a matter of do you and I think that he could have done this or that or the other, because of all of the unknowns.
I try to focus on what I'm doing. So
we give authority to
much of it, just kind of
to cops, ICE, CBP, whatever it is, to make those decisions in that moment, specifically because we look after the fact with all the different angles, frame by frame, and we think that, well, you could have done this, could have done that, could have done that. But that's not how they think in the moment. So that's not how the law is determined. You're muted.
I got to do it at least once. Thank you for that. And DefNot, did you have anything for his answer there?
I think, I've already covered everything I possibly could.
Okay, no problem. And then my next question for you, Lutch, is how would you how do you reconcile the principle of proportionality when it comes to like the use of force standards with the given that he was restrained and then the multiple shots after he was laying there?
So what? I got the what was the first part of the question? What's the what?
Oh, sorry. So, like, how do you reconcile the principle of
Hey, over here it's called a
proportionality when
ninja
it comes
outfit.
to like the use of force standards
Good, thank you.
with all like because of like the given the multiple shots? This is like a big thing that's asked of
Squeaky chair.
the affirmative side.
If I understand your question right, like the proportionality is based on the possibility of lethality or serious bodily harm. And so again, by engaging with law enforcement and resisting arrest while you are armed, then it's not about, okay, well, is this a threat or is this not a threat that we're going to determine in this moment? Because it is a potential threat, and there the necessary criteria has been reached. Then again, whether we want to say that should have happened, that shouldn't have happened, according to the law, that is how it is determined. Is that the question you asked?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I was just basically asking, like, what's the reconciliation when it comes to like, because DefNot had mentioned where there's multiple men on top of one, and then multiple shots is what we happen is the results after where even after he's laying there not moving, there's still I think if I'm correct, it says there's 5 shots after he's still laying. So I'm wondering if how do we reconcile the proportionality to the threat?
Yeah, I mean it's not a clear thing, and here, but obviously, I would love if we lived in a world where these things could be much more clean in terms of this is clearly justified, this is clearly not justified. But the reason that these laws are worded and applied this way is because there's such a huge level of variability in what can happen that even if there are bad shoots that might be still justified, that has to be the lesser evil of just letting people get away with the exact thing that I had, the exact hypothetical that I gave, whether it's as direct as somebody's already pointing a gun at you and then throws that to make you think that they don't have anything, then they reach in and whatever, they can have ninja stars and fucking whatever. I understand that this situation isn't as clear cut as this, but that is the gray area that we give the authority to these people. And that's why I don't like that. That's why I'm way more on the side of law and order than I am back the blue or I don't really like cops. I don't really like individual law enforcement officials. I had some bad experiences, but they again are a necessary evil because we need that law and order, and it's not always going to be clean, which is precisely why you shouldn't bring a gun to a protest where you plan on engaging with law enforcement.
All right.
Not because it's bad to have a gun, in case anybody was besides DefNot was confused.
All right. And did you have anything for that, DefNot?
Yeah, I mean, this whole, like, oh, he had a gun on him, like, you say, oh, not that it's bad to have a gun, but everything else you're saying seems to point that, like, having the gun is somehow, like, oh, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Just having the gun on you, as long as you're not reaching for it, as long as you're not using it or actually, like, pointing it at somebody, that is not, like, using the gun. It's not like, oh, like, he's armed, he's gonna do something. In order for the person who has to have... in order for the person who has a gun on him, in order for that person to be, well, killed, they have to be using the gun. If that person isn't using the gun, you can't be shooting them. That's not acceptable.
According to, like, you and I would agree. I don't think this should happen. Even now, you're getting in front of me. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying yes, I agree with that sentiment. Unfortunately, that is not how the law is dictated.
It is, but sure. I mean, we can just be like, oh, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Like, we can do that all day.
All right. So then I'll move to my questions for you, DefNot. First one is given that Pretti was legally carrying a firearm and had a permit, and then witness video is suggesting that he wasn't pulling the gun at the time he was shot. Um, how would you say that reasonable fear for life, like what we've been talking about, how should that be interpreted by federal law so that this action is prevented in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the laws that we already have define that the officers have to be like there has to be an immediate direct threat. If they're like, oh, maybe he's like hiding a gun somewhere, or maybe he might like pull something out, but there is no action. There's no like, oh, he's going for something. Oh, he's got something. He's pointing it at us. If none of that is happening, that is already not acceptable. So I think we just have to enforce the laws we already have, and prosecute in cases where like ICE is not perfect. Sometimes they mess up, but this is one of those cases, and we can just accept that and move on and let them do the rest of their job. But if we try to keep like defending this indefensible action, we're gonna lose way more than that.
Did you have something for that, Lutch?
Yeah. So do you believe that there could be a situation, we'll even keep it to where law enforcement is grieving upon a citizen, which is rather they're doing something that the citizen feels is negative, that what the officer doing to the citizen is both legal and also something that most people probably wouldn't like? Can anything like that exist in both of those categories, or are they mutually exclusive?
I don't understand what the question is. That was like a lot of ifs and.
Is there a situation where an officer can do something that's bad but legal?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
This is not one of those cases.
I believe that's what happened here.
Oh, okay. And so my second question then for you, DefNot, is if officers like are allowed to rely on like a perceived threat, even when like later evidence would suggest that the person was not actually actively endangering anyone at all. What's like the limiting principle that protects a civilian from being shot based on a mistake? Like what, rather than an actual imminent threat? So like, what would be the limiting principle that would protect the civilians?
Yeah, well, again, it has to be something that is a direct imminent threat to their like person or body, their life, something. It can't just be like guesses. And again, that's already something that's in the law. It has to be like they can't be like, oh, well, maybe he's going to do something. It has to be something that there is a reasonable officer would conclude. If a reasonable officer was put in that situation, they would be like, yes, this is something that is a reasonable threat and it's an imminent threat and there's no other way to contain this person. We have to take this like unfortunate action. And that does happen. That happens all the time. But this is not one of those times.
All right. And did you have something for that, Lutch?
No, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly with the sentiment. I just disagree that this was not one of those cases. I think it was a bad thing. I wish it didn't happen, but that doesn't mean that it's illegal.
All right. All right, so we'll start up the official 30-minute Q&A here. First one comes in from Box for $5. Says, two agents involved in this shooting, by the way, each have their own story. We have not heard them yet. Pretti's video, body cam, and testimony still missing.
Yeah, and in this case, it's like, well, of course, there's a lot of things we don't know yet, but I took this debate as like, with what we have available, like with all the information that we have available to us right now, what do we see happening here?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And Box comes in with another $5. Thank you, Box. Question, should this be investigated by an impartial body? Why is there no due process? Does the fact that Trump can just pardon them play a role in this?
Is that
that-
I can
that
I
to
guess I
me?
can speak to it. So I think
Yeah, anyone can answer. You can both answer. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there is I forgot that actually. I think it was the FBI that is starting to investigate this now. So it's not just going to be like them investigating themselves, which I think is wonderful. So it
Agreed.
seems like maybe there will be some due process as long as people keep I guess speaking up about it, because if when they first, one of the things that at first threw me off about this case specifically, and what started giving me like hints maybe there's something wrong here, is when they came out and started lying about what was happening. Like they were like, oh, he came out, he was like pointing a gun at the officers, and he was like attacking them, and like the office, like they were painting this picture like, oh, he came there to do maximum damage when he was like standing there filming. So when what the officials were saying didn't match at all what we were seeing, I was like, hang on, like this is clearly lying. So why are they lying? So if they have reason to lie, that's another, like, it's not everything, but it's like a little hint in the direction that like maybe there's something to look at here. And when we look at it, it doesn't seem like there's justification so far, at least. I don't know about the Trump thing, but if the state like if the state persecutes them, I think that he can't like pardon a state situation. I'm not too familiar with that.
I think you're right about that, but I agree. Definitely should be investigated by an impartial body. There will be due process, I assume. Does the fact that Trump pardoned them again, like DefNot said, it depends on if that is a thing. I think this was a state thing. Well, actually, yeah. So I don't know if that matters, but I would hope that Trump wouldn't just do it for like tribalistic reasons. If there, if we have a trial and it doesn't, it's not a fair trial, then then we can talk about that. But other than that, we should trust in our institutions.
All right. Next one from Box again. Thank you, Box. You get maced, no wiggling allowed.
Exactly.
Thank you for that, Box. And then another one from Box. Why did he grab that woman? Mace Payne.
Yeah, that's the biggest question that I have about the whole thing. I do think that he pushed the woman because it's likely that she had a whistle right in his ear. I don't know the legality. Like, obviously, blowing a whistle in and of itself is free speech, but I mean, like, reductio absurdum. Like, if you're blowing a whistle so hard that someone's ears start bleeding, is that still free speech? So I'm speculating, of course, but I think it's the whistle was in the air, and he's like, "Get that shit away from me." But I do not know. I'm not claiming to know. Just speculating.
All right. Next one that comes in from King Blackout for $5 says, I guarantee you will not find a single instance where the law asks if something is necessary.
I'll review this debate probably afterwards, where I can pull up all the specific laws and everything, but maybe look out for that later. I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah,
I already looked one up, but that one's not good enough. Sorry. Like, I'm not doing it.
So can we acknowledge, though, that there's a difference between saying, here are the necessary properties that must be met in order for this law to be relevant, versus, in order for this law to be relevant, this is the only option. Those are two different ideas, correct?
For what?
Just because
it has to be both necessary and there has to be no other option. It has to be a combination of things.
Okay, great. So then what I am asking, so we have two situations. Situation one, where we're saying this is necessary. You with me? This is necessary. That's situation one. Situation two is, if this is going to happen, here are the necessary criteria. Do you understand the difference between those two statements?
What necessary criteria for what to happen? I don't understand what you're saying.
The thing that whatever thing that we're talking about. In this case, it's a shooting. But do you understand the difference between it? It must be the only possible outcome, and it is necessary that you meet X, Y, and Z criteria.
Yeah, sure, obviously that's different things. I don't understand where you're getting at with
Okay. And so I'm getting at, you brought up something that had the word necessary and was saying here are the necessary conditions, while conflating that with
No,
it
that's
must
not what I said.
be
I said it must be necessary.
right. And that's not what the law says.
Okay, well, we'll review this later. I'm not doing this
Exactly
again.
as King Blackout is saying.
All right. Next one is oh look, I gifted 5 memberships. $5 again from Box on fire. We don't know if it is justified. That is why we have court.
Well, yeah, of course, but this is like with the information that like we as the public know, like this is like us judging it according to the rules that like they would judge. So, like, of course,
Like Graham B. Connor.
this is like as far as we can possibly take it, and like where we're at right now. Like, obviously, we're not in the courtroom.
And Box. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, and so Box, I mean, you will admit that you sent in a video for us to watch before this with Nate the lawyer. And what was the first thing he said? If you talk to anybody, I don't remember the exact words, but if you talk to anybody about this and they don't know about Graham v. Connor, and I kept saying Hancock, if you don't know that, then they don't know what they're talking about. That's Nate the lawyer. That's Nate the lawyer saying that. That's not me.
Okay, like there's
I
a
just
lot
learned
of
about-
YouTube
I just learned about
lawyers
it today.
saying a lot of different things, and like, sorry, I don't memorize like names of things like that. I just like it's not my thing. Sorry.
Fair
I'm more
enough.
about like concepts than like actual names of things.
Clear.
Maybe that's the takeaway for me to improve on.
Fair enough.
Fair. Blakethy coming in with a big 20 says, is it justified versus should it be justified? When citizens are being unalived, it's time to reassess at the minimum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's what did I do? Sorry. I think that is exactly the conversation that I was trying to have, and I feel like that's the two things that was being conflated. That because I'm saying it was justified, that I was also saying that it should be justified, and that's not ever the argument that I made. And I feel like that was what was being argued against. That I was saying it should be justified. And that was never what I said. Again, I started off with this is bad. I specifically said it could have been handled better, but that is not why the conversation that we're having.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
This thing is really uncomfortable
next
to
one
wear.
comes
That's why
in
I'm like,
from Box again. I feel like we have
it
lost the
sucks.
plot
Like,
here.
It
We?
would be a lot more comfortable to not have it on.
Yep,
Obviously,
Box says
but
all of us. We all did.
we
all,
might not have been
all,
get there. Like 10 Ks a lot.
all 60 of us in here. We all lost the plot. Bucks with another 5 says, I have never seen the right and the left flip on 2A so hard in my life. I will never forget.
Honey, you did what she did. You did what she did. Did I say, oh, he had a gun, therefore he should die? Nope. I said it's the two things. What was the other part of it? Not just having the gun, aggressively engaging with federal law enforcement while you have that gun.
He looked like he was complying as much as a person can comply while being like blinded and slipping around on ice. So
okay, and I guess
what video you saw.
being blind, maybe it's not a good idea to blind yourself by fighting with cops.
Okay, we saw different things.
All right. Blasterbot comes in with $5. I can't believe that you aren't allowed to obstruct law enforcement and fight the cops. This is literally the return of Mustache Man, guys.
Dun, dun, dun.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get into the fact that he wasn't actually. Sorry.
No, you can speak. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm reading your chat. We didn't even get into the fact that he wasn't actually
Yeah,
legally
the ice
carried,
is a little.
but
that just
doesn't really change it.
Oh, I thought he was.
I didn't even think about that.
He didn't
Maybe I
have his
read wrong
ID or his
then.
permit on him.
I might have read wrong.
Yeah,
I
according to
thought
Minnesota law, you have to have both when they're on you.
Oh, yeah, he had to have it on him.
It-
So because he didn't have it on him, that's right. Yeah.
Right. And so,
Okay.
Box was saying something before along the lines of like, that's essentially like if you get pulled over while you're driving and you don't have,
Your
current
license,
insurance.
yeah.
Something
Or
like
if
that.
you don't even have your license on you, you could get a ticket for that too. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not
But he
like
was
they
saying then,
asked him
you
to
just go to
produce
court
it.
and say,
True.
I didn't have it on me. Here it is. And
Yeah.
usually they'll drop it.
They'll just let you off. Yeah.
But if you're Renee Gooding someone, then the fact that you didn't have insurance is not going to discount, what you actually did. So it's
All
not
right.
anti-2A.
All right. We got another $2 from Box. What a legend tonight, holding down the chat out there. All right. Objectively, it was 7 versus 1. Fear of harm or death.
What do they usually call firearms? The great equalizer. So like,
If you use them.
right?
All right.
gotta
$10 from Blasterbot says, guys, listen, in Harry Potter, you had to fight the evil masked guys, so this is literally the same thing. And if you disagree, the mustache man will rise again. All right,
Wingardium Leviosa.
Cute.
Don't play Harry Potter, guys. All right, that's the moral of the story here. Guam Tech for $5 says, for DefNot, how long has Morty been off screen? Wait.
Ooh, fucking baller! Oh my
If
goodness!
she can't answer, how does she expect the officer to know Pretti was disarmed in the craziest situation? Oh, okay, I get it. So Morty is Indian Jesus's dog. So how long has Morty been off screen? And if she can't answer, how does she expect the officer to know Pretti was disarmed in a craziest situation?
The fact that anybody thinks that this is like a gotcha is hilarious to me. If I was intending,
So how long was you off screen?
Shut the fuck up for 1
were you
second.
not looking at
If
the
I was
screen?
intending to actually like shoot through my screen into his living room, I would know, but
Not the
I
principle.
wasn't trying to do that. So.
Not the principle that we're talking about.
Sorry.
Well, read what he's saying.
Seriously.
Read what he's saying.
Get the fuck out of here.
Can you steel man what his question is getting at?
Yeah, he's trying to say that like if somehow like I can't see something over there, then like in a crazy situation, how can we possibly expect an officer to know like where to look or whatever, or what he's looking at, or what he hasn't seen? Completely
and you
different
think that's
thing.
not a gotcha? That you can't even pay attention to my adorable fucking dog? Yeah,
I'm not
the
trying
guy
to
in a
shoot your
situation
adorable fucking dog.
where there's whistles and horns and all of that, he can pay attention.
If I was trying to shoot
Running
your dog, I
bomb,
would
brilliant.
know if your dog was armed or not. Okay.
But you saw it. You saw it. Your standard was I saw on the video that it was there, so he was there, so he must have seen it. So the principle should follow
I
that
already
you were here.
explained the
I
logical
saw
situation
that
there,
you
I'm
were
not doing
looking
it
at the
again.
screen while he was off, and you must know.
I already did
You
the
must
conundrum like
know.
10 times over and over again. Like you gotta like stop walking into that one.
All right.
Okay.
Another $10 comes in from Blaster Bot. Says, listen, guys, Orange Man is literally like Thanos, and Ice is like his Infinity Gauntlet, and the deportations are his snap. We need to fight against Thanos, guys. Otherwise, you support Thanos. True. I guess that makes sense. It's all logically follows.
He had the wrong solution, but he wasn't wrong about the problem.
Makes sense. $2 comes in from Box. Thank you again, Box. The law is 12 normal people from everyday life.
Facts.
Oh, Jerry.
I'll be interested to know how this one goes.
Me too.
There's very obviously like bias on both sides of this one, so
Yeah, definitely gonna be a heavy one, I think. We got Smirking Tyrant, aka Ren, became a member. Thank you so much, Ren. Absolutely amazing.
yeah, they
Thank
were
you for your
outgunning him.
support.
It's
And
true.
then Last super chat here. $2 from Box. I've never seen
masks,
the
though,
left
must be the
defend
same
guns like
thing.
this before.
Me
Yeah, I did notice
neither.
that.
I
They
thought
don't
they were
like
all
me very much
scary
over
and
there
dangerous,
because I
and we need to take
criticize
them away
Crucible
from
stuff.
everybody.
To be fair, I've definitely seen
Yeah, I mean, like,
people on the
yeah, what else
left
can I
defend
say?
guns. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, lots
we
of
would
lots
all
of strawmen
consider
in here.
Destiny left, and that guy's he loves talking
Oh, but he's a leftist,
about
so I
guns.
think when Bach says the left, that's more a
I got you. A collective. I got you.
yeah,
I got
like
you.
the default libs, the like the mainstream media, the politicians themselves, the people who aren't really paying attention are like, oh yeah, I don't hate gay people, so obviously I'm not a Republican.
For this point,
I want to put words in his mouth.
I agree that like I have also never seen the left defend guns like this before, and I think that we should take this up as a great opportunity to invite them to permanently be in the 2A camp, rather than like fighting
Totally.
with them on this point. So I think that, like, unfortunately a guy died, like that's terrible, but it is an opportunity to have them like be more on the side of 2A.
Shit.
I'll agree with that.
That's some strategic political thinking right there. Watch out. DefNot might be running soon, putting in some plans already.
I got no ambitions.
DefNot's going to start running for office. Watch out, guys. All right, so that is it for Super Chats. Let me look at the Q&A and see what people put over in here. Questions. Even Lord says, a question for both debaters. If a close family member was brutally killed and the local news station used an AI enhanced picture of that family member, would it be insulting to you? All hypothetical. Oh, I guess this is giving the situation of what happened with Pretti there with the, giving them some muscles, and I guess they chiseled his jaw a little bit or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super cringe.
Made his nose smaller. I wonder why. Yeah, that is disrespectful. It's like, I mean, I'm parroting Joe Rogan here, but he was like, "Oh, did you see what they did? I think it was CNN. They did the opposite of what they did to me during COVID. They turned me green or yellow or whatever. And for this guy, they made him more handsome. So it's like,
Yeah.
are ugly people not as important to liberals?
Yeah, same exact thought that I had. Like, the Joe Rogan thing came to mind immediately. The when they were like turning him green because of the ivermectin thing. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, they've been caught a few times doing that kind of stuff, huh?
Shady.
They gotta fix their editors over there, I think.
Yeah.
John Castle says, why did someone with firearms training get involved at all? It's crazy to be armed and get involved.
I don't know. I've never shot a gun, so I would very much like to, but I don't have that kind of training, and still I can understand the obvious point that you shouldn't do that.
I feel like you should be able
Which is
to be
not
armed
saying you shouldn't have a gun.
basically almost everywhere, especially in public and for self-defense reasons.
Mhm.
So,
Shit, okay.
But what was the other part of that, though? Again, it's not the question isn't about having the gun. The question is about the two parts: having the gun while you're doing the other thing.
what, filming?
You keep coming back to just having the gun.
I think that's what she was meaning. I think she said she meant.
And sure,
I mean,
like,
maybe I'm wrong.
no, I agree that, like, sure, if you are going to, like, bring a weapon to some sort of fight, that's one thing, but it still doesn't meet the criteria of the justified killing situation. Like, sure, they can, like, reasonably try to, like, disarm him if they're in some kind of situation, but it doesn't mean that, like, just having a gun on him means that he's okay to kill. Like,
Correct.
no matter what he's
Agreed.
doing.
Correct. Agreed.
All right. Next one comes in from Sleepy Man Bad. To Lutch, are you suggesting anytime someone is seen with a
Yeah.
weapon, law enforcement should assume more
There's
weapons
definitely a
could
flip
be
between the
hidden
two.
and take appropriate lethal action?
Nope. I'm suggesting that if somebody's going to attack police, then the potential that they may have more weapons should be taken into account.
Again, he didn't attack police here, but okay.
Okay. All right. Another one comes in from Sleepy Man Bad. Says, also for Lutch, do you think the last 5 shots, even after Alex was laying there unalive and unarmed, were justified?
I genuinely, I don't know how they would use the Graham v. Connor standard there. So I know, like with the Renee Good situation, they treated, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm certainly not a lawyer. They are treating the 3 or 4 shots, whatever it was, as one action because of the time. And so there is precedent for understanding, like, yes, there were different shots, but it all happened in one moment of thought. I don't know the right terminology, but so I don't exactly know how they will apply that. But yeah, it makes sense that within such a short period of time that you wouldn't be able to determine, oh, I don't need to shoot here. You heard that there was a gun, you heard a gunshot. Boom! They trying to go home to their family.
All righty. Next one comes in from Section 230. How much?
I already know.
How much of a super chat for her to never do a face reveal? I've seen enough leftists to last a lifetime.
That's mean,
I'm
Section.
not a leftist, but okay.
You gotta charge them lots. Make
Yeah,
sure
don't
you
worry.
charge
Like,
them lots.
yeah,
for
like
that.
10K is a lot for me. Like, that's a really that's a very big goal. So don't worry, you probably won't see
There you
it.
go.
But I'm not a leftist, so.
Get some big dollars. Sleepy Man Bad. Another one for Lutch says, one of the purposes of 2A is to protect against a tyrannical government. Why would it be wrong to have a weapon at a protest, even if the protest is against the government and law enforcement?
It's not. It's the attacking part. Again, 2 parts. Not having the gun, having the gun while you are fighting with cops or resisting arrest.
I hate that. That's the worst when that happens.
Okay. All right. Next one. What do we got here? The Vigilante TV says, if you saw proof that Alex's P320 went off on its own after he was disarmed, like it's known for doing, would you change your position of the shooting being unjustified? So I guess that's for DefNot.
I think in that situation, you would be shooting at where the firing is coming from. So, like, if a gun goes off behind you, you don't start shooting at what's, like, lying down in front of you. So that would be crazy.
All right.
No comment.
Oh, wait. Do you want to
No,
say
I just said no
something?
comment. No comment.
Oh, okay. And I think that is it for the questions as well. We only got 6 minutes left, anyways. That's
I
not
get
bad,
the,
not
like,
bad there.
lefty thing a lot.
So we
Just 'cause
can
I disagree with
go
people.
ahead and wrap up the Q&A. Let me just make sure that was it. And I didn't have something I missed. Let me make sure. Didn't have any PayPals or Cash Apps.
So what's your chat is saying about me?
Okay, no, nothing. So that right there will conclude the Q&A for tonight. Again, thank you to everyone in the live chat for all the questions, the engagement, and the support. Of course, this is what helps me keep bringing you these debates.
I plan on probably doing
and
some panels
obviously
if
the
people are
entire
interested.
Swords of Reason experience.
Sorry.
I
plan on doing some panels. I've had a few people interested, but yeah, I think that it might be time to start doing that because I've had some interest. It would be kind of weird if it was just like 1 or 2 people that would be interested. So I do want to make sure there's at least like a handful that would want to show up in the best day. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little break, but I might come back on for like a little bit. Yeah. Oh no. No, not enemies. We don't want enemies. I'm just kidding. That's not interesting. You gotta have people that disagree with each other, otherwise it's kind of lame. I think a lot of these like panels with the recent drama that was happening, it became a lot more like people have segregated and not as much like not as many panels have been like a good mix. It's been usually like a right-wing panel or like a left-wing panel, but they don't like mix as much anymore. But yeah, of course. Nerves will steal from subjecting yourself to all of jump out. I have, yeah, I mean, I got frustrated, but yeah, I mean, he was like way bigger mad than I was. I was surprised. But yeah, I gotta I I gotta obviously watch more Jim Bob to train more to stay calm in situations like this. Thanks for your support, guys. That really it helps to not know it's not like everybody going against me. So it helps to know like some people are reasonable out here. But oh, oh yeah, I did it at the end a little bit there. Got me even cussing a little bit. All right. I am gonna take a little break. So let me let's do this. Yeah. Not sure how to deal with this situation, but hang on. Hang on. So,
I want to
mean,
say
Well, he's
right. I
giving
want to say
back.
right
He's
now
getting
I've
that
already
exposure.
Fuck you, you fucking bitches.
in verbal
With your
combat.
3
I've
fucking
given
viewers.
over $12,000 out in prize money.
not
What is that?
sure.
Not giving
Send
back?
her $2. Showcase that you're
Is that not giving back, or
Showcase you're honest. Send
is
her
that
$2.
not giving back,
Showcase you're
or what?
honest. Send her $2. Showcase
Red
you're honest. Send her
Run,
we're gonna
$2.
establish.
Red
She
we're gonna
gave you
establish-
4 hours to
got
talk to a
$1,000.
disgusting smelly Indian. You can't give her $2.
Manar, this yelling over me shit.
You-
Listen, I don't
you
like to
stupid
have to
little
mute
man.
people, but I don't. You're not gonna take advantage of that fact, all right?
Um,
It's just way too loud, right? So just relax a minute, all right, and explain to me that the fact we've given over $12,000 in
it's all
prize
good, dude.
money,
Don't worry
not
about it.
including the memberships we buy, not including all the other extra shit, not including giveaways we've done, just that. The $12,000
Yeah,
in verbal
it's cool.
combat
Like,
money that
they
we've
don't owe me
given out.
money or anything.
What is that? Is that not giving
Uh,
back to the community?
It's all good.
I just before
No,
you
that's
bring
not giving back to the community because you're doing this as a prize. They win it fair and square. That was a winning.
You know,
They
there
have
was
to go-
never a prize.
They have to go and win that debate. They have to get passed
Hey,
in. They have to get
hey,
voted
hey,
in.
hey,
It's impossible
it's
for
all
them to
good.
make that money. That's not
I
giving
can't-
back. That's
I can't-
competition.
It's all good,
You
dude.
do know
It's
that,
fine.
right?
I-
Verbal combat.
Exactly. So that's
Sorry
not him
for
giving
all
back.
this
Don't act
crap.
like this is not him giving back. This is him
Decided that
giving
I
only to the
decided
winners of the
not-
contest.
Guys,
That's not giving
all
back.
at the
to
same
be
time is
given back
too
to
much.
the debaters who put in their
Rev,
time.
let me ask him now. So
Why
to
can't
be
you send
clear-
her $2 right now? You just made $150.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Hey, that's definitely nobody's talking to you.
Menard.
Shut the fuck up, definitely.
Menard,
Okay?
Menard,
Shut the fuck up. I'm not talking to you,
Menard,
definitely.
Menard,
Shut the fuck up,
Menard.
definitely. Don't talk.
Okay,
Okay.
Menard,
I'm
listen.
good.
Listen, I'm gonna just put you in the back when I want to talk because clearly you can't handle yourself.
That
So
is-
just to be clear, right?
Woman.
There was never when I first made verbal combat, there was never a prize money. I decided to do that. Right? People came and still did verbal combat without prize money. I decided to add a prize to it. So again, tell me how it's not giving back to the community.
It is. What are you talking about? Who ever saw $1 from Speakeasy? Raise your hand. Who here saw $1 from Speakeasy?
I saw
I've seen a lot of
$1,000.
money from
Who here saw $1 from Speakeasy? Only one person here raised his hand. Not a
Rev
single
just
person
said
here
he,
raised his hand.
Rev just,
Rev's
if you
raised his
stop
hand
talking
with verbal.
for a minute,
Stop
Rev
talking
just
for a
said
minute.
he got $1,000.
For what? What did you do, Rev?
I
Because
won
he's nice
verbal
to you?
combat.
Oh, he won a verbal combat, so it's fair and square. Did you give anybody else that didn't win any money that day?
Yes, we gave out memberships that day. Yeah.
Man, you're a loser. When do you give money? I haven't seen you give a single dollar ever.
Memberships
when is
is
that
money.
donated this week?
Memberships
A
had
single
to
dollar.
be paid.
How much
Fuck
do you
off,
pay to
that
work?
action had to
Fucking
occur
liar.
for memberships
Let me
to-
finish.
for
Shut the fuck up.
memberships
Why
to
is 100
happen.
people talking? Why is 100 people talking? And you
You're
don't
the
mute
only
them. I
one
get
talking.
muted.
You're literally you're 99
So
people
speak
right
easy.
now.
You concede. You concede. You're a disgusting human being that sucks the
100
money
people
out
are
of the
talking,
debaters.
you're 99 of them.
Yeah,
You did not give a single one of the debaters today any money. You did not give Emmett any money yesterday. You didn't give a single. Go fuck yourself. Fuck your mother. Fuck your wife. Fuck you and your fucking bitch daughter. Go fuck yourself. You fucking piece of.
Okay. Yeah. um. Yeah. um. Yeah, I don't know what happened. um. I don't know what happened. I just got back and I'm confused. Sorry.
It was so great. Anyway,
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. So anyway, now the adults are here.
so he asked the question before about the whole Alex Pretti situation, and I wanted to ask this too. But was Alex Pretti under control, even though there were 7 guys on him? Was he under control before that first shot went off?
Nope.
To say that he was under control, definitely.
If he was under control, it would have only required one police officer to restrain him, because that's the norm. If you're under control, it only takes one police officer to tell you, put your hands behind your back. You can probably put your hands behind your back. Your cuffs are escorted to the car by one police officer, not 6 or 7.
Exactly.
If you require 6 or 7 police officers to hold you down, well, there's a problem.
So how could you say that just being under arrest, definitely, this is towards you. How could you say that the guy, Alex Pretti, was under arrest and he was he was under arrest and they were fine for only getting just one guy if it took 7 guys, and throughout that entire time...
It's Lamar. Hide the camels. Hide the hide the chickens. It's coming after them all.
Yeah, you gotta be careful showing that picture if Menard's still around. He'll get excited.
Oh, he's in the back. That's why I put that picture up.
Yeah.
You guys can continue the conversation. That was just, personally for him.
How could Alex Pretti be, quote unquote, arrested if it took 7 guys? If it took 7 guys and the guy was still moving around, was he under control for him to be properly arrested at that point?
Is that for me?
Yeah, that's for you.
Yeah, so we don't know that all 7 were necessary just to hold him down, but the fact that he was wiggling around doesn't mean that they didn't have him under control. Somebody could still be wiggling a little bit, and it's obvious that some people can hold somebody down.
But if he's wiggling a bit, that doesn't mean that he's really under control, is he?
No, it just means they're all literally on ice.
So on ice.
Yeah, there was ice right there. That's why that's why everybody was slipping around.
Ice
on ice.
So ice makes it impossible to have someone under control such that it doesn't require 7 people to be on this guy.
I'm not saying it was impossible. I'm saying however many that was minimum necessary, they had way more than that. We don't know what the minimum number is.
And if he was under control, it would only take
way more.
If he was under control and not resisting, which is where I'm really going with this, it wouldn't take 7 people, but it took 7 people.
Just
for
because
him
they brought extra doesn't mean that
But they wouldn't need to.
What?
They wouldn't need to bring extra if he was under control, which is the whole problem.
It's not this is okay. We've watched different things because you're talking about there was one guy came up and then he was still resisting, and then 2 dudes came up and then they're oh, he's still over there flopping around, let's send more people. No, they swarmed him all at once. So whatever the minimum number of guys was to contain him, they brought extra. So we don't know what the minimum number is, but we know we brought extra. It doesn't necessarily mean that every single one of them was necessary.
Why?
Okay, let's go with the hypothetical that it was just one police officer that approached him. He's armed. He's got his gun clearly in the small of his back, so it wasn't holstered.
And he still went and pushed this guy away. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you've got one police officer engaging this guy who's resisting, what's the odds of them both drawing on each other, or one drawing on the other, just because both of them are armed?
Sorry, you're really quiet. Can you repeat?
Oh, sorry. When let's go with the hypothetical. It's just one police officer who engages him. He's still armed with a gun. What's the probability of him drawing that gun if he's already out there in a hostile situation, being hostile toward law enforcement and not obeying lawful orders?
Especially
what's the odds of him obeying one police officer and not using his equalizer against that officer?
Yeah. So what we saw was when the officer pushed him back, he kept stepping back. I didn't see him attacking officers in that case.
Hold on.
I saw him kind of flapping around a little bit because he was blinded on ice. But I didn't see him attacking them back. And this whole oh well, what if? At first they didn't even know he was armed until they took him down. But sure, if there was some hypothetical where there's an officer and then there's a person and he has a gun on him, but the person isn't reaching for the gun and they're not holding the gun, then no, they can't. You can't shoot them. That's not how that works.
Hold on. You said at the very beginning that the officer pushed him back. So
Yeah, he walked up to
it
him
would-
and then pushed him further back.
No. He pushed him back, and this was after Alex Pretti aggressed the officer first.
How did he aggress the officer?
Because the officer had to push him back.
He walked
Why
up to
would-
Pretti and then pushed him further back. I didn't see him aggressing upon the officer. You're gonna have to show me that.
Well, obviously the officer would need to respond if someone was coming in and aggressing on the officer while the officer was.
Sure, but we have no evidence of Pretti aggressing on anybody. Neither did that woman that the officer pushed. There was no aggressing on the officers. The officer came in towards these people and started shoving them. So that's what I saw. I don't know what you saw.
First of all, the video showed that Alex Pretti was aggressing on the officer, and second,
We
you
played
just
it many
said that
times. I don't see what you saw.
He put his
Obviously,
hands on him.
the officer had to push. If the officer had to push back, that means Alex Pretti was in a position that needed a response.
No, it
And if
doesn't
that was the
necessarily mean that.
I
As
don't
far as
know.
I understand, he was already known as like somebody who's going around very aggressively going at ICE officers. So he was
Yeah,
like
he
a
kicked
known
out.
entity.
So what
Exactly.
was this revenge
Exactly.
killing then? That's even worse.
It's not a revenge killing.
No,
but this
what
is
happened?
This is a
What
man,
happened? What
an
happened? There
armed
was
man.
something that was, kind of fucked up and tragic. He had a gun. It was probably,
We lost you.
and they might have thought he had it.
Never mind.
No,
You're
I
good.
disconnect.
You're good.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit there.
Well, man, it's a fucked up thing. He shouldn't have done what he did and put himself in that position. The gun that he had, I think they took it off of him. It may have misfired, and then that just triggered a big clusterfuck.
There's no
Which is-
evidence
Should he
of
have
that.
been
Al
killed?
Grant.
Man, it's fucked up. It's not a great
Yeah.
situation. It's tragic, but it's what position that he put himself in.
If he did
Well,
not put
police
himself in a
shootings
position
are
to
primarily justified under self-defense, right? That's the idea legally. So in this scenario, if you take this scenario in any other and put it in any other scenario,
wow,
let's just say
that's
it's
a
like
long
a home
time.
situation, right? You have a
Yeah, I
guy
don't
who
know
you
what the
is
whole money
erratic,
situation was about.
and
I'm
he
very
shows up to your
confused
house
about that.
and he has his gun out.
And yet
and
the fact
you
that there
think he might
were
be meaning to do
more
you
of
harm.
them doesn't. Yeah, it logically doesn't necessarily.
Where's the
follow.
limit there? Like, I'm assuming you're for justified.
Did they remove the whole
self-defense,
holster?
right?
Yeah, I thought I saw a holster. I didn't know if they removed the
This is
holster
for
and the gun.
DefNot
Definitely.
question.
Yeah. You're muted.
Yeah, I don't really
I
know.
don't think she's talking. Maybe she can't
yeah.
hear me. I don't know.
Sorry, what?
I was making the case that police shootings are primarily justified under self-defense reasoning, right? So if you take
Okay.
this same scenario somewhere else, what is the limits in self-defense in your mind to secure safety for your family, let's say?
What do you mean by limits?
Well, let's say someone is at your house and you know they're have a history of being erratic and they have a gun drawn.
Yeah, shoot them.
Where's the limit? Where's the limit of
If they have a
Where's-
gun
where's the
drawn,
threshold?
then you shoot them.
Okay, so in a vacuum, in the scenario with the scuffle, he had a gun,
Not
according
drawn.
to the officers at the. Well, hold on, let me finish. As far as their perception of it, he had a gun. He did have a gun.
So
Now, whether it was drawn in whatever manner, threatening or whatnot, he did have a gun, and he was in a very contentious situation with police officers. So they acted with what they had at the time. So how would you? Where's the limits there for the police officers? Should the police officers in any other action or case where someone has a gun drawn, where is the limits where they should refrain and put themselves in danger and their teammates in danger in order to make sure that
can you
absolutely nothing like this happens
explain?
again?
Yeah, so I've already explained this, but they have to be either going for something, like they have to be reaching for the gun, or they have to have a gun drawn. They can't just be like, oh, they have a gun on their person and we get to shoot. That's not how that works. Even if there is like some kind of altercation, if they're not reaching for the gun, or if they're not pointing the gun, if they don't have it in their hand, you can't shoot them. That's just how it works. I'm sorry.
Okay, but it looks like in some of the evidence he did have the gun at one point in his hand. didn't he?
No, there is
In
no
the
evidence for
scuffle?
that whatsoever.
And there's also claims where, as part of
I
that
saw a
self-defense, as
picture.
part of,
Some pictures that I saw, he had the gun in his hand at one point.
He never had a gun in his hand ever. I'm
Did
sorry,
you
what you
see-
saw
did
was
you see-
probably
did
AI
you
or
see-
photoshopped.
No.
Did you see when he put his hands on the officer and engaged the officer and pushed him?
He didn't push the officer, so
Yes, he did.
no.
Yes, he did. He put his hands on the officer. Yeah.
Again,
I would
We just
encourage
saw
you.
that
It seems like you actually
interrogation.
haven't looked at the evidence thoroughly yourself.
Yeah,
would
again,
encourage
I
you.
have
you
looked at it
mentioned that
backwards
he-
and forwards. We saw it together. I didn't see him push the officer. He had a phone in one hand when he was standing, and he was holding his other hand up like this. I saw no pushing.
He put his hands on the officer.
Otherwise, why did the officer had to push him back? That requires a
Why did the
response
officer push
to
that
it.
woman? Like, just because an officer
'Cause
pushes
the
somebody,
woman
it doesn't
was-
necessarily
and
mean
the
that they
woman
are
was
perfect
obstructing.
angel
The
woman
being,
was
and that
interrupting.
they can do no wrong. Like, sometimes they shove people for no good reason.
Well, let's talk about because I'm a concealed carry person. Let's talk about concealed carry. When you go and get your license, if it's a state that doesn't have constitutional carry, you go through a class. And one thing that they emphasize there is under no means should you have your carry on you, let's say in a bar situation where you're drinking a lot, or if you are planning on any kind of altercation or engage in altercations, right? It's this
Especially with law
idea. It goes back to the whole, trope of with great power comes great responsibility.
Okay,
right?
sure. None of
So
that excuses
you
them
should
shooting
take
him.
that into consideration. But isn't there some sort of
Wait,
isn't there something on
is
his
it
part?
legal to plan to go and engage in physical fighting?
Obstruction.
Well, the idea is to not put yourself in, if you're going to be in a position like that, and
In
you're
a
going to
position
engage
where
in-
you may need defense, don't bring the defense.
No.
That's not true.
If you're going to engage in, if you're going to engage in activities that puts you in the likelihood of engaging with some sort of physical, or if you're going to escalate it to that degree.
I
If
don't
you may
understand this
need,
whole, like, what if this,
wait,
what if
if
this,
you're
and,
going to
like, holding
escalate
the
is a
gun now,
different
it's
thing, right?
completely not true.
Right. Yeah.
And that's
The idea-
illegal.
the-
So planning to
the idea-
escalate is
I didn't
just
say
illegal.
I'm not talking about legality. I'm talking about training when it comes to carry, right? So it's the same idea as if you're going to a bar and you're drinking. You're putting yourself in a position that could lead
And you
to
may need the
unfavorable outcomes.
defense. If you're at a bar with a bunch of idiots, you probably need defense in case they try to jump you when you leave. No.
No,
He did
it's a
mention
situation
if you
of
were going to
you
drink.
don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're taught to de-escalate if you're going to carry. That's the idea.
Yeah, I understand de-escalating,
Yeah.
but why would you be told? That confuses me. Why would you be told don't bring your gun in places you may need it?
If you're gonna go to a bar and you're drinking and you're under the influence, you think
So
that's
it's
a
more about
good
the drinking than it is-
situation.
Still may need defense under the influence.
You think that's well?
Uh,
I would say that can lead to life-changing scenarios that you don't want to necessarily inject yourself into. All right,
I think
that's
you're
the
trying,
point.
Mo, I think you're trying to mention the whole last resort thing. I believe is what you're trying to touch on, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a last
Yeah.
resort thing. If it's you're supposed to de-escalate, you're supposed to keep in mind like, okay, I'm going to, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're the Proud Boys, right? And you're going to fight a bunch of protesters, right? You're showing up. If you're going there to just do fisticuffs and push people around, it would be a bad idea to be, armed necessarily, because it could escalate further.
And I guess to come back to the Alex Pretti thing,
Because
this
here's
basically
here's how I
goes-
could escalate.
Yeah.
Just case in point with this scenario, just seeing the gun, cops say they saw the gun. That's that causes an unfavorable situation.
Because now it's life and death. By the way, it's life and death.
Right.
And when guns are involved, it is life and death. So finality, right then
As
and
we
there,
saw, as we-
automatically.
even if you don't mean it to be, even if you are not doing anything wrong, and that's why there's a responsibility that comes with carrying like that. And I don't feel like he held that responsibility properly. That is not
part of that
does-
responsibility is letting cops know that you are armed. A, which is what he didn't do, and B, I think there was something I heard this recently. I think from Marte just earlier today. That to be carrying. Oh no, it was a super chat in a different chat. To be carrying, you would need your ID and carrier's permit. I think. Mo,
It depends
I'm
on the
sure-
state. It depends on the state. Like
Depends
some
on the
states have
state.
constitutional carry; they actually don't have a requirement anymore for licensing. I'm referring to the training for states that do require it.
That's fair.
The idea, though, is that if you're going to be a responsible gun owner, you have to keep these ideas in mind when you're putting yourself in these situations. And in his case, he was definitely not de-escalating. Kicking out taillights and engaging with police, I would not say is keeping yourself in a de-escalation.
I'll
Now, if
just
he was
say,
like just hanging out on the side, photographing, keeping to himself, and not engaging, that's a different scenario. But that's not what he was doing.
yeah,
What
again,
happened?
you mentioned that, you mentioned the woman. Creative, you mentioned the woman, how the woman was quote unquote getting pushed out. Well, the woman shouldn't have. We're talking about the fact that the woman was in a position to be pushed out in the first place, which meant that she was basically in a position where she was obstructing and interrupting activities of law enforcement. Otherwise, they wouldn't be anywhere in a position for them to push her down.
Okay, so
And
what you're saying, I'm sorry, what you're saying in
And then-
many different ways is because the officers did this thing, therefore this thing was the right thing to do.
No,
because
no.
I'm sorry, because the officers pushed
Because
this
she
guy,
was-
therefore he must have given them reason to push him. Because
Again,
the officers pushed
it's
this
a
woman,
response.
therefore she
It's a
was in the
response
way,
thing.
and therefore she deserved to be pushed. I'm sorry,
It's a
this is not like 4
response
against
thing.
1, and
Hold on.
this is kind of
Why?
like, I've said what I have
Because
to
the
say
question,
at
the
this
question,
point.
because the question
but
comes back to
Tomahawk.
Fine.
You gotta let it finish.
Fine, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap out because this is like I've already made my points, and now I'm getting like, oh well, now he was like holding the gun, which is complete misinformation. Now we're adding like, oh well, now he was like attacking the car, which is like weeks before.
Yeah,
And
that
if
was
they had that in
11 days
mind,
prior.
then what? Then they must have known he had a gun, and they should have been like, hey, put your hands up, we are under arrest, and start like disarming him. Instead, they started like a physical altercation where they were like shoving him and stuff. So this is all completely nonsense.
Yeah, I
And
think we can
thanks
all
for
agree
engaging.
that.
I understand that people disagree on this, but obviously I've made my points. Like it's all good.
Well, thank you for
Yeah,
the
Yeah, if
debate.
you want to tap out, no problem.
Go
Why
ahead.
don't you tell everyone where they can find you if they want to go check your stuff out?
Yeah, sure. I don't really expect this crowd to be huge fans of me, but that is oh, I can't point. That is my like YouTube name underneath there. So I
Definitely
do.
not whatever.
You know what? Forget it. It's down there. People can see it. So
I
yeah,
do have one question. Go ahead. Sorry,
Go
never
ahead.
mind. Actually, no. You do your closing. All right, you do your closing point, and then I'll say it after.
For the record, I sub because I like listening to progressive talking points.
not a progressive, but sure. Thanks. Okay. Well, you guys have a good day. Bye.
You as well. Thank you for
Have
coming.
a good one.
Well, that got kind of annoying there at the end. If it was at least like more balanced, I think I might have stuck around a little bit longer. But if you start saying like, oh well, he was holding a gun, and like going on and on about how like, oh well, because the officers were doing this thing, he must have been attacking them, because otherwise, like, why would they shove him? Like, why would they shove him? I agree. It's so stupid. Like, I don't even know how to. Like, I don't even know how to deal with arguments like that when they're like completely out of like they're so far away from reality that I don't even know how to deal with that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna keep calling me left no matter what. So I'm used to it by now. It's like if the highest like you thing you could possibly do is like when somebody disagrees with you, call them a leftist. Like if that's like what you've got, then like I just kind of feel bad for them. Yeah. Thanks, Manar. And thanks for the tip too. I appreciate that. But like that wasn't necessary. Like getting angry like that isn't really cool. But like I appreciate that. But they don't owe me money, so I'm sure like I'm confused as to what that was about. So, yeah, that's what I got on that. But like thanks for your support. But also like I'm not sure what happened there. So. I don't know. It is getting late, but I'm already here. Oh, you know what? I had a few things. Oh, yeah. Exactly. It's like, and no matter what, it's like, oh, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what if it was this or that? Like, I don't know how people like see the same video and start like creating a story about him like attacking them and about like holding a gun and like he must have been shoving them. Like, we didn't see any of that. um yeah, like the money thing is all good. I appreciate you like thinking about that. But it's like they don't mean anything. If anything, like it was good exposure because that's a much bigger channel than mine. So it was good. But they could obviously use more people there that disagree because if they have like one person on the against side and like 5 people are like literally everybody that joins is on like a single side and like it's not fun. Like it's not fun being like the only one in the room that is like against everybody else and then having to like deal with things that are like so out of scope of reality on top of that like ugh. And yeah, the chat is quite mean, but since I started doing YouTube, I've like you never really get used to some of the really insulting stuff, but kind of like you kind of get used to it because like it happens a lot. So um. Welcome the anti-Pretti people. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna save the stuff that I found for another night. I think we'll probably do, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, because I still want to do like kind of the stuff that I normally do. This debate was kind of not the usual programming here, so if I'm not too tired, I still want to do a stream tomorrow, and I have some clips that I found that are so fun. So we'll probably do that. I'm not making like 100% promise, but that is the goal. So, yep. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And I do have a Discord if anybody wants to go and like either say nice things or cry in there, whatever you want to do. That's cool. It's available. It's in the description somewhere too. So yeah, thank you. And it's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna take some much needed sleep. I just found out this debate was happening today, like for sure. I was like, before it was kind of a question, like, oh, can you do this time? Can you do this time? And like today, this morning, I was like, so are we doing this? So I could have been better prepared. I think we'll probably review this at some point and do like pull up some of the laws and stuff that I didn't have time to memorize beforehand. But okay, I'm gonna quit blabbing now. Thank you again, and y'all have a good night.